Good Easter weekend, Saturday morning to you. It's the In Wheel Time Car Show preview. Yeah, we go on a little bit early before our scheduled 8 a.m. Central Time start to give you a little inside information, if you will, about what's coming up on today's 3-hour live program. So this is exclusively for our live viewers because we have the podcasts, and this doesn't get on the podcast. So,
is this the pay-per-view?
This is the pay-per-view.
Awesome.
So you can send your checks to info@inwheeltime.com.
I need everyone to get in their wallet.
do me a favor and fix my phone.
Well, we haven't popped up yet.
Oh, we haven't?
So, yeah, usually there's about a 10-second delay.
Well, it wasn't been more than 10 seconds.
Yeah,
I've got it on mine.
You got it on yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I discovered this week somebody was having a hard time hearing me, and it wasn't just one person, a couple of people. You know, they put a new 5G transmitter.
Yeah, we are on live.
They put a new 5G antenna right here at the end of the block. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, maybe 500 feet away from me.
Yeah, not even.
Well, guess what? It doesn't get my house. It goes over the top of it.
Oh, you're too close.
I'm too close. So, yeah. And the further away I get from that telephone pole where it is,
unlock me.
The better my signal gets on my phone. But in the meantime,
is that why the 5G truck was in the drive across the street?
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. I think the guy stole the truck.
Oh gosh, they're still working on that pile across the street from
They are, and actually they haven't done any work over there in 2 weeks. I think that they've run out of permits. Because it's all come to a crashing stop.
Well, unless they're done.
No.
Yeah, it looks like they're done.
They're not done.
Windows are optional.
Windows are optional, and actual sheetrock is optional, apparently, because you can see right through the whole house. Anyway, that's another thing for another day. So here's what's coming up on today's live show. Hopefully, we will have Joe Moye, and we're still trying to get a definition on the pronunciation of his last name. Have you found that yet, Mike?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I'm working on it.
He is with a company called Beep, and they are working on autonomous shuttles. That ought to be it.
Cool.
Is there something on? Let me have that.
Shouldn't be, yeah.
Toss it here. I'll fix it.
And somebody else has got something else going on over there.
I told you I'll turn off your Wi-Fi's.
It ain't the Wi-Fi.
It ain't me.
Wasn't me. I didn't do it. Wasn't me.
It is now. It was too. I heard it go blip in my ear. Anyhow.
Yeah, I see that George Skelton is here, and he says, pass the important papers. Well, is that the zigzags or what? So Joe Moye is going to talk about autonomous shuttles with us.
Now, George has got fat fingers. He needed the Joker 1.5s.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I'm just going to say, it's interesting that you know things like that.
I have no idea.
Detail like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm going to do a review on the Kia Cadenza. That was a sedan I had a couple of weeks ago. And then at the bottom of the hour, this is kind of like the Don Armstrong first hour. At the bottom of the hour, I had an opportunity to visit a good friend of mine with Nissan by the name of Steve Parrott. And Steve Parrott and I go back to the beginning of both of our careers in the automotive media stuff back when I was on another television station at the time. And Steve is a former reporter, so he was at a television station. I don't remember where he was, but
Oklahoma City, I believe.
Was that where I was?
Yep.
Anyway, great guy. So he invited me to this thing called Nissan First Look, and they had about 5 vehicles they brought to town of the all-new Nissan lineup, including the prototype. And so I had a chance to talk with him and look at the cars and took some pictures.
2, 3.
And did a little, I'm sorry?
That was Steve.
And did a little, so is that Joe?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to find out, hopefully, from him how to pronounce his name. But at any rate, so I went down there, down at Silver Street Studios, which is a really cool place next to downtown. It's where those where you played.
Yeah, where our band played there.
Right. It's a unique place. It's a big art gallery, and all of these artists are inside this thing. And they all have their own little cubicles. It's all locked up when they close their shops. But if you want original artwork for your house, this is the place to go.
Is this like a big warehouse?
It's like a big warehouse, but they've
Cubicle.
divided it all. It's really
neat,
cool.
really
Where's it at?
I just got through saying it's just right.
It's in the first ward.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're assuming I listen to you.
And then somebody in this room is going to do auto history.
Who might that be?
I don't have any clue. So in the second hour, we're going to talk to Jim Morrison, head of Jeep North America.
Yeehaw.
And we're going to talk about the new products that Jeep is coming out with, and also going to talk about Moab.
Oh, yeah.
As the place or as the brand within Jeep?
No, I
Or
think
I guess it's a little bit of both.
It would be a little bit of both, but I think it's really about the Moab beat. Yeah, where they all meet up and go off-roading and all that sort of stuff.
That's pretty wild.
Zekin is going to do his car review on the pre-owned side, and that's going to be the Subaru Forester. And we're going to talk to one of the Emmons brothers again.
Gary.
If we can get through.
You think maybe they'll bring their
interview.
Wallies with them? If they have their Wallies?
I'm sorry. What could you just say it out loud?
Moy.
Boy, Joy with an M.
Joy.
No, just Moy. Don't worry about Joy. Moy.
So are they going to have their...
Well, we want to get it right.
Let's see. I got it.
Okay. Moy,
Yes.
as in boy.
Yeah. With
There you go. No, Moy, as in boy. Okay. This is what we do in this preview. But at any rate, I must hurry along now because we're running out of time.
Yep.
Yeah, you got about 48 seconds left.
Oh, God. So we're going to talk about drag racing and internet sales with Gary Emmons with Emmons Motorplex. What are you doing there,
I'm
Mars?
hung up.
Oh, God. I don't even want to go there. Jack Nerad's going to join us in our last hour, the 10 o'clock hour. He is an extraordinary friend out there on the left coast, and he's going to talk about EV cars and internet sales. Quite a combination. And finally, in our last half hour, we're going to talk to John Craman, Meekum Auto Auction, coming to town this week here in the Houston
I'm excited
area.
for that.
Yep.
We all are.
You're supposed to have 1,000 cars.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
I'm as nervous as a virgin in a prison rodeo.
Did he just say that?
I think I could edit that.
And we're about to go live.
All right. Well, there is that. So you
the
guys
voice of
just
experience,
hang
sir.
on because here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Just ahead, we talk about autonomous shuttles. We'll have a review of our new car of the week, the Kia Cadenza. A look at the growing cruise-in calendar, this week in auto history, and the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. It's Easter weekend. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin in the corner where he needs to be. Don Armstrong here. Glad that you could join us. It's kind of a cloudy, cool day here in the Houston area and a perfect day for those local folks that join our show every Saturday to have a good time, sit down, and enjoy yourself with a nice, warm cup of coffee.
And talk cars.
Talk cars, maybe get a few laughs and giggles in. And
Well, there'll always
and
be
a couple
that.
of, oh my, did they really just say that?
Martha, get in here. Listen to this.
Martha, don't listen to this. This is not a G-rated program.
Was it Don't Look Ethel?
Don't look, Ethel. That's right. Yeah, it's
I'm going to have to call my brother because he ain't never seen nothing like this before.
Yes, we always manage, well, I do, get myself in a pickle.
Yeah, there's always that moment on the show each week that
We're all decorated up for Easter, too.
where we actually
That's
go
right.
back onto YouTube to look at it to say, did we really do that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's
Fun.
Fix my collars.
Gather around the picture tube.
all right. Well, is Joe ready?
Yes, sir. He is. In fact, he's trying to cover his face. He's a little embarrassed.
Joe Moy is CEO of a company called Beep, an autonomous mobility solution company operating autonomous vehicle fleets in mixed traffic now operating in communities throughout the U.S. Joe, I don't know whether I should say welcome to the show or we're all scared because we don't know what's going to be coming down the street. Should we be scared?
Nothing to be afraid of, gentlemen. I promise you that. Good to be with you, and certainly enjoyed the banter during the break.
Well, thanks. Well,
great to be with you.
It's great to be with you. Autonomous vehicles. I think that you're one of our first people to talk to about autonomous vehicles because we know that they're out there in certain cities, and there may be even a company here in the Houston area that's working on it. Not sure. But I know that in certain select cities around the United States, there are autonomous vehicles running up and down the streets on kind of a prototype basis, if you will. Give us an overview, first of all, of the company Beep. I love the name.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Beep, we're based in Orlando, Florida, and a fancy way to describe what we do is delivering autonomous mobility as a service transportation for public and private communities. And in short, what we focus on is taking these multi-passenger shuttles, as you pointed out, 8 to 10 passenger configurations, deploying those in lower speed, fixed route type scenarios where they're able to provide an alternative to your personal transportation in these short haul, first mile, last mile type use cases. So the technology is real. It's out there in live traffic, mixed traffic scenarios and moving thousands of passengers around the various communities we're fortunate to serve.
So it'd be something like, the downtown Houston area shuttle, or in our case here, the Texas Medical Center, which is almost like a downtown unto itself. Mm-hmm. So it'd be kind of like that, kind of like a Disney experience, if you will.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to describe it. I mean, certainly the technology and the innovation that's coming with autonomy is, something that is squarely focused on delivering a safer transportation alternative. And I think your two examples, we're serving several major medical campuses in the state of Florida and elsewhere. We've actually got a project hopefully coming to Texas here very shortly. And then in those downtown areas like a Houston, we're serving Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete in the state of Florida, where you've got those arterial routes where people want to get around a downtown area, kind of too far to walk, too short to jump in your car and drive across town and deal with those frustrations. So yeah, those are great examples of use cases we're deploying today.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Do the cities give you some kind of priority lane to operate in with your vehicles, or do you just operate in the normal traffic lanes?
Yeah, so today most of our deployments, 95% of them, are actually in the same lane of traffic as normal vehicles. So we're operating on the public road system in these communities. And again, I want to emphasize in lower speed environments. So we operate on roads of 25 miles an hour or less. You probably read a lot about the infamous robo-taxi, where everybody's imagining that George Jetson experience is something showing up in your driveway and taking you anywhere you want to go, at any time, any speed. And the reality of it is, that technology is a decade or more away. But where these, platforms are being proven out, where they truly can be driverless with safety attendants as we evolve the technology, but truly driving in a, autonomous type approach in these low speed fixed route type scenarios where you've got a mapped, lane, if you will, virtual rails that you're traveling on, but with normal traffic, not in dedicated or segregated lanes.
So like here in Houston, and they kind of went through certain areas that I've seen, and they took out like a middle lane, and they put rails in for a train system for mass transportation inside the city. So you could actually go in and do something like that without having all that construction cost of putting rails and taking out lanes, putting all the electrical overheads and things. So is it something like that?
That you're just putting people movers in, basically, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, spot on. I mean, certainly there's scenarios where we require some dedicated infrastructure, as I said, if it's a higher speed type road. But the entire value of this is based on being able to provide that people mover type capability without having to have dedicated lanes or very expensive infrastructure. So how do you kind of take cars off the roadways in some of these congested downtown areas and provide this type of transportation where you can, jump on an integrated mobility network across the downtown area.
So how does it work?
So there's several components to the technology. The first is, the route itself is mapped. So picture, if you will, you've got a dedicated GNSS satellite antenna where we actually map the physical route of the vehicle. So it knows exactly where to be without deviation traveling along its route. It's kind of the virtual rails. If you think of a monorail system, it's that, but on tires following a very specific route. And then the scanner and sensor technology is really what allows it to perceive the environment like a human would. I see an obstacle coming in, and the technology, a LiDAR is one of the most popular, easy for me to say, used components of it. It's a combination of light and radar, which emits, a 3D image and captures everything around the vehicle. So it knows a pedestrian is coming to a crosswalk. It's going to slow, see what that pedestrian does. If it enters the crosswalk, let it go, and then it will go back on its route. But so it's a combination of those virtual rails and then the high technology scanners and sensors that perceive the environment and react to the environment around it.
Okay, so I have a quick question now. In the downtown Houston area, we have some pretty tall buildings. What if it doesn't see its GPS locator?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I mean, we, depending on the areas we go in, we have to maybe position multiple of these type antennas so that you've always got that connection. But it's also got, failover systems. So if the satellite were to go out, the vehicle can operate just with its sensors and scanners, and it knows kind of locationally where it is because that map is actually on the vehicle. So it does have a failover system that ensures, the safety if there were something to happen to the signal.
And the vehicle typically travels the same route all day long.
It does, but it's a bit of a misnomer. One is you can certainly program in as many stops as you'd like, and you can override those stops if there's not somebody waiting and things of that nature. You can also create an on-demand service with these vehicles where they're just not on a fixed time schedule. You can call them to a stop if, in fact, you want a vehicle at a particular time. But also kind of I think where we're really starting to prove this out in a couple of communities in the state of Florida is if you connect routes, I can redeploy the vehicles at a common intersection point to say, all right, I want 3 vehicles on this route at this time of day, and then direct them back to another route at a specific time of day. So that gives you the ability to create a pretty sophisticated on-demand network and not just a trolley car going in a circle, if you will.
So you can adjust the availability of seats based on your knowledge of demand on different routes as they intersect.
Also,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Joe, what I see when you said 25 miles an hour or less, and then opening this up into communities in Florida, is this something you could optimize in the retirement communities for those folks that don't drive any longer?
Yeah, like a Del Webb or something.
Or maybe have challenges on the road themselves, setting this up as a transportation to go to the market or to go downtown to visit shopping.
Yeah, you fellows are hitting on all the hot spots, and I think you're exactly right. We've got a couple of retirement communities we serve today. We've retrofitted the vehicles to have ADA capabilities. They're a low step up. They've got wheelchair lock-in devices. So that is a great example of where people may not have transportation available to them, that they can access it and get out to a CVS or a grocery store or a healthcare provider within their community, as a convenient means of getting around.
So, Joe, who builds these vehicles for you?
So we've got several suppliers that we utilize. One of them here in the U.S., manufactured in Knoxville, Tennessee, Local Motors. is a common partner of ours in many of our implementations. And there's two products from Europe, one called Navia, one Easy Mile, 3 separate companies, but all with this same kind of 8 to 10 passenger configuration of autonomous vehicles that we've been able to partner with and deploy.
And why did you choose the 8 to 10 passenger size?
Yeah, just it's a great question, and again, I mean, I don't know if it was blind luck or brilliant strategy. That particular use case is really where, if you think about kind of that first mile, last mile type scenario, this isn't today mass transit, large buses, nor is it 1 to 2 passengers in an Uber type configuration. So we found that the demand for, putting multiple of these vehicles in service in these communities, that's just a great configuration for the types of use cases we're serving.
In other words, it's the sweet spot for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the vehicles, I kind of, when you said Local Motors, I went on their website to look at it. It's clear to other vehicles what this vehicle is. This doesn't look like just a Camry that you're loading people in. This looks like, for lack of a better phrase, kind of a small people mover bus type of a thing that you've got moving. So it does stand out in the crowd to be the autonomous people mover that it is.
Yeah, very much so. And, it's and what's interesting about it, the more of these that we deploy and the longer that we're in these communities, people quickly adapt to, understanding, hey, this is going to operate at a little slower speed.
Right.
In some ways, we do a nice job regulating speed in areas to slow people down that might be inclined to speed through those areas. But yeah, it's very high tech, as you can see in the images there. Right. It does kind of represent, in a lot of ways, that futuristic view
of
transportation.
Who pays for this?
So there's several sources. One, we actually, I described us as a mobility as a service provider. So we turnkey these to where we charge a monthly fee for the end-to-end service. So we deploy them, we manage, operate, maintain the vehicles, and kind of deliver the expansion of those services in these areas that that are our customers today. We've got developers who are looking to really distinguish their master plan communities by providing alternative services like this. So they're incorporating them into the offerings that they provide as part of major developments. Obviously, on the public sector side of things, we work with several transit providers, much like you have there in Houston, where they're licensing, if you will, the services from us to incorporate these into their mass transit type environments. So to date, we have not kind of charged the passenger for the ride. We're still very much in that adoption and awareness phase of deploying these technologies. So today it's been kind of the private communities and the public transit operators that have funded these projects.
I'm looking at a state fair kind of scenario. Let's just use this as an example where you got a state fair that runs for about a month, and there is an opportunity there for this kind of transportation to get around probably several acres of land. Would it be something that you could put up on a kind of a temporary basis?
Easily deployed?
Yeah, we have done that. In fact, we've had some interesting use cases, not a state fair, but very similar in that you got a lot of people coming to an area and wanting to kind of move around, whether that's from remote parking areas or one end of a park to another. We've deployed these in spring training type scenarios. We had a project in Peoria, Arizona, which was all about moving people around in the spring training area that they host for Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I think you're exactly right. Some of these sports venues, concert venues, county fairs, things of that nature where you've got the need to provide transportation to some of these remote areas is a great use case.
I like that idea, but I was also thinking that like for city transportation, the buses and thing, you could actually deploy something like this out in the residential area to get people up to the bus lines to catch the bus or the trains or whatever, kind of a joint effort there.
An intermediate, yeah.
Right.
Is your organization the organization that's there in National Harbor in the D.C. area?
So Local Motors deployed that project directly. We were not part of that project, but very, very similar. It was their technology, and that was frankly prior to us partnering with them.
Yeah,
But,
it was. I think it was about
project was one of these.
it was about 2 years ago. We had a big meeting in D.C. and actually we stayed at the Gaylord there at National Harbor, and I watched these things going around in amazement of how it was quite well accepted by the foot traffic community and really did a nice job of managing itself through the vehicle traffic community. Because for me, I'm looking at it going, oh, something's going to go wrong here. and it was smooth as silk.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting. I mean, the technology I think, just human nature, you're going to be apprehensive about, well, there's not a human behind the wheel.
Right. How
safe can it be? Well, I like to kind of draw the comparison and if you look at the history of highway traffic in our country or roadway traffic, we lose 30,000 people a year to deaths on our highways, and 94% of those are caused by human distraction or human impairment.
Or human stupidity.
I'm sorry?
Or human stupidity is generally my phrase.
Yeah, that falls in between. You're exactly right. But you look at these vehicles and this technology, one, these sensors can react 10 times faster than a human can when identifying something and applying the brakes or reacting to a scenario. Secondly, they're never impaired or distracted or stupid. So safety at the end of the day is really where this technology is going to have the biggest impact. And starting in these lower speed use cases is where the technology is going to evolve.
Be proven.
We're kind of at the infancy of how we're proving these out in real kind of live scenarios, dealing with pedestrians, bicyclists, other vehicles. But over the next number of years and frankly decades, this technology is going to have a huge impact, on the well-being of the people of our country.
Joe, it seems to me that Las Vegas would be a gold mine for you guys.
Yeah, that's where I was.
No pun intended.
Or intended.
And what about
No, it's a great example. I'll be honest, and not that I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, but if I did, I would tell you that there's a lot of scenarios there where you've got, faster roadways, a lot of complex intersections,
right,
a lot of traffic on the road. To be honest, although I think there's some use cases in Vegas that are spot on perfect for what we do, there's also a lot of scenarios where we're not ready to kind of push it as far as, interoperating in some of those more complex scenarios. It's a bit of an evolution we're going through. But
I can almost see a big use for it at SEMA, as spread out as SEMA is for you guys to offer.
You still got the same problem, though, as some of the roads, the Las Vegas Boulevard, for example, the traffic and stuff on it. But I was also thinking someplace like a big university. University of Texas is like big. And people are constantly trying to find vehicles and transportation across the campus.
Well, somebody's deployed at Sacramento State in Sacramento, California. I'm just on Local's website, and it looks like they have a completed deployment at a university campus.
Yeah, so something like that, I could see where this would work really well.
Yeah. So what? Where can we see your all of the development of the Beep brand?
More stuff.
Yeah, so a lot going on. We're starting to expand well beyond the state of Florida. We started there 2.5 years ago. Our website is www.go-beep.com. You can see all the projects we're deploying there. I'll share with you, you guys have brought up every great example of campuses and sporting venues and city centers and communities. We got probably one of our most unique projects. It's starting in May at Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, what a wonderful place that is to do that.
Yeah, so we'll be traveling from one of the camping areas to the visitor centers, and that's going to be launching in mid-May, so keep an eye on that one. But that'll be our first our first interaction with true wildlife. So I'll let you know how that works out.
Yeah, do that. Joe, it's great to talk to you. What a world of information we've gotten today, and we really appreciate you taking the time of your Saturday to join us here on the In Wheel Time Show.
And I've got your website that you just gave us up on our social media as well.
We appreciate it, gentlemen. Have a happy Easter, and thanks for your time.
You do
bet.
the same.
You bet.
Thanks.
All right, time now here on the In Wheel Time Show for the Cruise In calendar. Cruise Ins are popping up everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And we would encourage you, if you don't actually have a car to bring to a Cruise In, consider taking the kids, the family, yourself, friends, whatever, and really go to some of these cruise-ins because that's what it's all about. These guys love to have visitors, talk about their cars, and I think that it would be a great time for you as well.
If not, just to get out.
Yeah.
Just to get out.
Yeah, this evening at 4 p.m. is Drive City, and that's at 13020 FM 529 in Houston. Nifty 50s is tonight up in the Woodlands off of Grogan's Mill, and that's always a great event to go to. Lots of cool cars to see. The Kima Car Meet. That's a weekly. That's every week down in Kima on the boardwalk. Tomorrow is going to be cars, everybody gets their own way to pattern the phraseology of this. Cars, coffee, and donuts at the Whitehall Cafe in Navasota, Texas. The All-American Muscle at Kroger on 99 in Spring. Sunday night at Freddy's Steak Burger at 1960 in Eldridge Parkway. Wednesday, the Viper Exchange is going to be hosting a meet at Bombshells up off of 249 in Tomball. Also Wednesday night is the Freddy's Steak Burgers in Katy, and then every Friday night, Freddy's Steak Burgers at Kirkendall in 2920.
Isn't Chrome and Coffee tomorrowell morning?
It's the first Sunday of every month.
Yeah.
It should be Chrome and Coffee as well.
Yeah, that's over at the Prince's Hamburgers over there on, in the the old Sharpstown Country Club.
Very
now
cool.
it's the Sharpstown Golf Course. So anyway.
And you don't have the Corvette back yet.
I had
Easy.
It is.
Easy.
Well, you could take what you're driving right now. I'm sure that would draw a little bit of attention.
Well, you're right. It's a late night for me tonight.
Hellcat.
Yeah, it's a late night for me tonight because we have auto racing tonight at Houston Motorsports Park.
That's a place to go as well.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2020 Kia Cadenza. Available trim levels are called Technology and Limited. I had the Technology. This large sedan, 5 passengers, refreshed inside and out this year. Sharp-looking car, got that brand new grille. I really do like the car.
I like it too.
Exterior features include luxury look, but a near luxury price. Sleek fastback design, Kia pinched grille. I call it that because it's got those little pinch marks right in the middle of it, and just the right amount of chrome trim. Lower valance is built-in dual exhaust tips at the back end of the car. What I liked about it, that upscale look. What could use improvement? Well, you're looking at it. I don't think anything. That's a sharp-looking car.
Yeah, very good looking.
Interior highlights include quilted leather appointments. It's an option. Rear seat AC vents and USB connections back there. Does have a passive phone charger up front. 12.3-inch infotainment screen built into the dash. That's an option. And I have to tell you, look at that thing. That is really cool,
huge.
isn't it? Yeah.
And it's landscape oriented versus the vertical, the portrait oriented everybody else
and
does.
it seems like that foot length, about 12 inches or so, that's the ticket that everybody is going for. You stop. What I liked about it, big warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile. That's always a big seller. Lots of legroom, by the way, in the rear seat. As far as power is concerned, it comes from a 3.3-liter V6 with 290 horsepower, 253 pound-feet of torque. It's a perfect match with its 8-speed transmission for this car. 20 miles per gallon city, 28 highway is what it's rated for a combined of 23. I got 31.1.
Oh, wow.
Of course, 95% of my travel is on the freeway here locally.
And you don't drive like Mars.
No, I do not. 462 miles is what I put on that car for a week. What I liked about it, plenty of power. It's perfect.
And it's good looking.
It truly is.
It is.
The ride is as smooth as you would want it to be, but not sloppy. A base trim price on this car is $37,850. Price is tested $39,115.
Wow.
Right.
That's
because
a killer price.
Because
Yeah.
the way that they do it is with the packages, and there's only 2 package trim levels on the car, and everything is included in those trim levels. They have a couple, some stupid high-end floor mats or something that is an option.
Well, less is more.
Well, it is. I mean, it's
more
got
is
floor
less
mats.
because they give you discounts when you popular option
That's
package
true,
them.
too.
Yeah,
Go either
and
way.
so there it is. Let's see. Options: carpeted floor mats for $135 and a cargo mat for $95. Those are the only options on this particular car. Everything else is included.
Wow.
And it's got plenty in it. Trust me. All right. So the base trim price $37,850. Price is tested $39,115. Base model price $37,850. Now it all compares up with the Toyota Avalon at $38,369, the Nissan Maxima $39,100, and the Honda Accord Touring, which is the top of the line, for $37,695. And that is the review of the 2020 Kia Cadenza. Notice I didn't say 2021 because it's not available as a 21 model yet. At least not that I
Really?
saw. Yeah, isn't that funny? Weird, huh?
Yeah, that is odd.
All right, well, that is it for the car review. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, as well as Twitch. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. The In Wheel Time Show continues right after this quick break.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular, you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 and Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In real time, we'll be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
And a good Easter weekend to you. It's a Saturday morning, and we are celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk. This is the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Today, coming to you live from Studio A in Texas, USA. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong, and Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday morning on our live program. If you're listening on a podcast, hey, we invite you to join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 11 o'clock.
Easter weekend.
This is Easter weekend, yes. So I had a chance, I was invited to a Nissan event.
And we weren't.
Yeah.
Locally. And it was a small kind of a private affair. There weren't too many... journalists invited.
It had to be special. This is only for the Hall of Famers.
No. It's one of those deals where it's typical corporate stuff where, you got to wear a mask, and they're only inviting a limited number of people on a schedule. And so I had an hour to visit, and then we had to move on and allow other journalists to go. I think there are 2 or 3 journalists at a time in there.
We call it schedule.
At any rate, so they titled this event the first look for Nissan of 4 or 5 vehicles, and it was pretty cool.
A view to the future.
A view to the future, yeah. Some are available soon, and others are, one of them in particular is a prototype.
Just a tease.
Yeah. So I went this past Wednesday in the evening over at the Silver Street Studios. You know where that is? Silver Street is kind of off of Taylor and down in the First Ward area of downtown, just to the west of downtown, just to the south of I-10. There's some silos down there.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right underneath those silos, warehouses. They've taken one of these big, long warehouses and divided it up into an art gallery. And there's probably, I don't want to over-exaggerate here, but probably 25. The Suze is up there looking at the basket.
Looking for something to eat.
So, absolutely. She didn't even look at the egg. She was more interested in the grassy basket there, the Easter basket. So at any rate, they divide this huge warehouse up, and there's probably, I don't want to exaggerate, 50, 75.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah, artists, and they all have their own small gallery, and the gallery includes whatever it is that
their wares are.
It's a pretty unique place. You'll see some pictures of the inside hallway, and that's where they displayed the cars. Okay, so first up, I took some pictures, as I should have. There is the all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good looking. And it's about time that truck had a change,
Oh, my
too.
God.
That truck was getting long in the tooth.
What was it, 10 years old?
Oh, yeah,
At least.
And you did say 22.
Yes, it's a 22. The all-new Frontier design combines aggressive modern style with elements inspired by the iconic Nissan hardbody.
Okay.
I hadn't heard that in a long time.
Really?
Remember the hardbody?
Yep.
Okay.
That was
So
The mini
standard
truck craze.
Standard 310 horsepower, 3.8 liter direct injection V6.
Wow.
Which was all new for last year, with 93% new or redesigned parts, offers best-in-class horsepower. Torque is rated at 281 pound-feet. Matched to the engine, 9-speed automatic transmission. Nissan also retuned Frontier's hydraulic rack and pinion steering. I didn't know that they'd gone away from that. Frontier four-wheel drive models feature a shift-on-the-fly four-wheel drive system. The Pro 4X model adds an electronic locking differential, Bilstein off-road shocks, and underbody skid plates. Bed utility continues to be a strength for Frontier with the Utilitrack channel system. We've all seen
Smart
that.
system.
It is. You can buy all the accoutrements to click into that thing. Frontier's towing capacity rated at 6,720 pounds when properly equipped. This thing goes head-to-head with the Toyota Tacoma, and goodness knows they've needed some competition. As far as, it has a available largest in-class 9-inch color touchscreen on the interior with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's a terrible picture that I took. I apologize for that, but that's just the way that it is. Further making life easier, a standard largest in-class 7-inch advanced driver assist display offers configurable information directly in front of the driver. The 5-foot bed is standard on all crew cab models, 6-foot bed optional on crew cab SV long wheelbase models, 6-foot bed also standard on all king cab models. That is that particular vehicle.
The new Frontier.
The new Frontier. Kind of sounds right, doesn't
That's
it?
right. So, hey, and they could pay me royalties for the advertising.
Now here's a good look at. When I saw this, went a little bit too fast
Yeah, I
there,
did.
Jeff.
Yep, sorry.
The front end of this is round.
Okay.
And it is stunning when you see it in person. It's not a very good picture, but I didn't have a very good angle at it. The 2022 Pathfinder, all new from the ground up. Obviously an SUV, strong front face, wide stance, blister fenders, and short front overhang versus the previous design. V-Motion grille. C-shaped headlights and floating roof line. Standard LED headlights include slim upper dynamic daytime running lights, and the C-pillar has a structural SUV look that allows use of a two-tone paint scheme, a first for Pathfinder. This one had it. You can see it's got the black top.
It's a Euro look. I like it.
It does. It looks really good. A total of 14 color combinations are offered, including 5 new two-tone treatments. Every 2022 Pathfinder features a 284 horsepower, 3.5-liter direct injection V6, 259 pound-feet of torque, engine matched to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Four-wheel drive models feature Nissan's all-new intelligent four-wheel drive with 7-position drive and terrain mode selector. Among the long list of striking interior touches, a new available 12.3-inch digital dashboard provides the driver with a variety of easy-to-navigate screen options. An available 9-inch color touchscreen center display is placed high on the new simplified instrument panel. And that seems to be a real theme for Nissan now, is the simplified. Instead of having 100 buttons and switches and knobs, they've simplified it, and it really cleans up the dashboard.
Kind of a 3-tone colored interior.
I like
as
the
well.
seats. The seats look comfortable.
That's real
Yeah,
nice.
and the material that used on that is very unique, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it's got the Nissan NASA seat stuff, so it feels like
The zero gravity.
the zero gravity thing.
Oh,
yeah,
be darned. Looks
feels
soft.
really good. Available interior features include a 10-way power driver's seat, climate-controlled front seats, tri-zone automatic temperature control, second row climate control, and heated rear seats.
Notice the steering wheel with the flat bottom.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty creative.
They
It
have
adds
got-
a sporty look to it.
You know, Nissan's been kind of quiet because of all of the
Struggles.
oh gosh and
Challenges.
They've had lots of things going on.
Carlos. Oh, need I say more? Okay,
So does this come with its own luggage?
one that a human body can fit in. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Nissan's first all-electric crossover SUV. There it is, the Aria. Okay, the all-new Aria offers an estimated range of up to approximately 300 miles, depending on how lead-footed you are. Aria styling represents a significant redefinition of Nissan's design philosophy. This new philosophy is based on what Nissan calls timeless Japanese futurism. Marketing department got a hold of that, huh? Aria is offered with 6 two-tone exterior paint combinations, each sporting a black roof and 3 striking full-body colors. A unique exterior copper and black two-tone color package called Akatsuka expresses the moment just before dawn as the sun marks the beginning of a new day.
Thank you, marketing department.
I love
It's
it.
called Sunrise.
Pretty much.
Copper.
This thing is really cool. I
Well,
have to tell you that.
The whole era of car design right now that is using these LED lights as a styling line in the
Cadillac.
car.
Mhm,
Well, a lot of people do it, but how cool is that?
Interior, more akin to a sleek cafe lounge, they wrote that, on a starship, evoking performance and intrigue rather than traditional automotive cabin. You can go to the interior, Jeff. The advantages provided by the company's all-new EV platform have enabled the Aria to offer a spacious cabin. The compact nature of the powertrain components made it possible for Nissan's engineers to install the climate control system under the hood, where a traditional gasoline engine would be, allowing the designers to utilize the whole length of the cabin without traditional obstructions, such as a transmission tunnel.
I was going to say, it looks like a flat floor.
Yeah.
It is a flat floor, yeah. But I want you to look at the dashboard. A minimalist instrument panel devoid of buttons and switches found in conventional vehicles. Primary climate control functions are integrated into the wooden center dash in the form of a captive haptic switch that offers the same feeling as a mechanical switch by vibrating when touched. Over there on the
Kinda like you.
on the passenger side over there, on the right-hand side, you can see it down below the dash is a flat panel that doesn't look like it has anything on it. It's got a whole row of buttons on it that are lit in the dark, and in the day you can kind of see them in there. You touch it and it vibrates back at your finger going,
You got me.
You got me. Exactly. The adjustable center console can be moved to suit the driver's personal preference. Both Aria front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models offer a choice of 63 kilowatts of usable battery capacity or 87 kilowatts, which is the upgrade.
Yeah, that's a 300-miler.
Yeah, so additional battery capacity delivers the additional range for those looking to venture on longer journeys. The Aria also features e-pedal. First introduced in the Nissan Leaf, allows the driver to launch, accelerate, and decelerate using only the accelerator pedal. Well, how does it do that? You can adjust the deceleration.
As you take your foot off the gas, it slows the car
Like
down.
spring-loaded.
Well, yeah, the accelerator pedal. I don't think they would use the gas pedal.
Oh, gosh.
Because it's electric.
Yes, you're
Anyway, on models equipped with E-Force, regenerative torque is distributed not only to the front wheels but also the rear.
Does it
Vehicle also includes Amazon Alexa.
Does it have like one of those catches on it, like on a top fuel car? It's got
Doesn't have that.
to bring it back.
No, it doesn't have that.
But when you say regenerative, which means that as it's applying the brakes, it's actually recharging the battery as well.
Correct.
So
Connectivity display interface features both 12.3-inch instrument monitor and 12.3-inch center display. Remember me telling
everybody's got to have the 12-inch.
Yep,
And
yep.
everybody goes a little bit bigger than 12-inch.
And here's what I thought was pretty interesting. Steve says we think it's going to start at about $40,000.
Cool.
$40,000.
That's a steal.
I know.
And then they're still giving the $7,500 kickback from the government for buying an EV, aren't they?
I guess. I don't
Yep.
know.
I think
Is
they
that-
are.
Is that still happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, now here is the prototype Z, the Z Proto, as it's called. Now, in this picture, I had to take a picture of this because they haven't actually come out with the 240Z, the 300Z, the 370Z. They haven't come out with that yet.
They haven't
So,
the final name.
correct. So instead, they made the name Fairlady Z because Fairlady was in the portfolio of the Z way back at the
All the way
beginning.
back to 1970, the 240Z was called the Fairlady as a Japanese domestic market name.
So Nissan has unveiled the Z Proto, signaling the company's intent to launch a new generation of the legendary Z sports car. Shown at an event beamed around the world from the Nissan Pavilion in Yokohama, Japan, the prototype features new design inside and out, as well as an upgraded powertrain and a manual transmission. The Nissan Z Proto pays full respect to 50 years of Z heritage. At the same time, it's a thoroughly modern sports car, sporting a bright yellow pearlescent paint, tribute to a popular paint scheme on both the first-generation 240Z and the 300ZX. The Z Proto boasts a fresh, attractive exterior.
So this is the prototype that they have because I've seen pictures of this in the spy shots and stuff.
That's it. This is the one that you see in the spy shots.
My brother is a big fan of Z's, and he's owned several.
But they've kept a lot of the style of the Z, the flat back all the way to the tail lights, the hatchback view of it. I think there is some historical Z styling in this car.
It's very smooth. It doesn't have the Coke bottle design for the sides
pinch,
anymore.
yeah.
It's all
Pinch at
been
the doors,
flattened
yeah.
out.
The rear corners are more rounded.
But if you go back to the original 240, it was also more slab-sided. It
But
wasn't.
It was a
pinched in.
flat back, not rounded. Yeah.
So under the elongated hood is an enhanced V6 twin turbocharged engine mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. But the one thing that they don't put in any of the press materials, horsepower.
Oh, they don't.
Well,
No.
they might not have come to final tuning on it yet as well. You know, we're not real sure.
So
when
what
the
are you
release date
guessing?
is.
What are you guessing horsepower will be?
I would
on a
say
twin
that
turbo 6-cylinder.
To be a player in the market, it's going to have to get close to or push 400
That's
horsepower.
exactly what
I
I
was
wrote
thinking
down here.
400.
Because
Yeah, I
you
would
look
think
at
so.
the new Supra. This new Supra's 385.
Well, Mr.
Yeah.
Mars is going to do a review of that.
There you go.
Tell you right.
You know,
Shortly.
so they're that 400 mark is kind of the thing. And I know there was some early conversation about this being called the 400Z.
So
Doubtful that's going to carry in. But
So to finish this up, I just wanted to say thank you, Steve Parrott with Nissan, for inviting me out. I had
Beautiful
a good
car.
time. It's good to see him. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and I also got to meet the new president of the Texas Auto Writers Association.
Kristen?
Yes, she was
Saw
there.
her.
Came up and extended a handshake, and it was nice meeting her face to face. So a very nice lady. All right, let's move on, shall we? Let's
it's
do
your show.
No, it's not my show. Let's do This Week in Auto History.
All right, Jeffrey, you ready?
Not yet.
So, well, that's why I kind of gave that pause there. So as we go to automotive history, Jeffrey's got some pictures to give us in
There's
the process
a good picture
here.
right there of Nissan.
So the U.S. Congress in 1806 appropriated $30,000 for the Army Corps of Engineers to begin surveying the construction of the Great National Pike. It's also known as the Cumberland Road. Go ahead, the next picture, Jeff.
Sure.
And here is the road construction crew, and you can tell things haven't changed. There's 2 guys working and 8 guys standing around looking at them. So we haven't changed anything in 200 years. Like that. In 1900, the British royal family received its first motor car, a Daimler Mail Phaeton.
Lord have mercy, that's ugly.
Well, yeah, but still, this is back, 1900. There weren't very many cars
Got plenty
available.
you got fringe and everything, Don. You should like that.
Yes, I do.
A Surrey with a fringe on top.
It just speaks to me.
So in 1927, Major Henry Seagrave became the first man to break the 200-mile-an-hour barrier, driving a 1,000-horsepower Mystery Sunbeam. He averaged 203.79 miles an hour at Daytona Beach, Florida. Can you imagine driving a car like this on Daytona Beach? Because though the beach is relatively flat, you still got to deal with deviations in the sand and stuff.
And everything.
Now, this was powered by a twin overhead camshaft V12 with 4 valves per cylinder and an aluminum block with 22.4 liters. It was the size of the engine, so it's a 1,370 cubic inch engine. And the ignition system was 4 magnetos, which is 2 per bank, with twin spark plugs. And it was you can switch the picture, Jeff. It was an airplane engine that they stuck in this car. Pretty remarkable considering. Yeah, pretty remarkable.
Hey, what do you got under the hood? Well, it's not actually under the hood, but it is an airplane engine.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
But again, 200 miles an hour back in 1927 is scary fast.
Looks like I always that Sunbeam. I think bread. I'm thinking he's
Yeah, me
driving a
too.
loaf of bread.
There
The
you
way
go.
that vehicle looks.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Sunbeam Tiger.
There you go.
The car out of the 60s.
We should have put this picture in Don's Nissan review for that Z.
There's the engine, the twin turbocharged airplane engine.
So the thing I found pretty interesting, in 1927, it had 4 valves per cylinder and multiple magnetos.
Yeah.
That's technology of today. So in 1941, Ford built the Willow Run assembly plant, and the federal government was moving in 41 and 42 to war production, and Ford was given the opportunity to build the B-24 Liberator. And, Henry Ford was very much of a pacifist. He really didn't want to get involved, but he jumped in with both feet.
But he still maintained his jerk ability.
Yeah, well,
All the manufacturers had to. They were forced to.
To a large degree, they were
Right.
forced to. And if you go back and look at it, Bunky Knudsen was he worked for Henry Ford.
I thought it was Knudsen.
Yeah,
Knudsen,
either way.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I always called it Knudsen because the K is silent. That's why I'm Onrad,
Knudsen,
not
Knudsen.
Conrad.
Whatever.
But he used to work for Henry Ford,
Right.
and then he went to
became-
work for General Motors,
Right.
and then he became the head of war production.
War production
So
for
he
the
kind
Army.
of told Henry,
Yeah.
this is what you're going to do. They built 8,000 bombers at Willow Run,
Wow.
and they built it from start to finish. They didn't build the only components they had coming in were the engines, but they built that.
And I believe that facility's still there.
It still does. They built. I believe they're building trucks in it right now. So pretty interesting. In 1947, the Nanjing Automobile Group, a state-owned company that was founded in China, they started building. Oh, well, we got the wrong. This is Kichiro Toyota, the founder of Toyota Motor Corporation. In 2008, Toyota surpassed General Motors as the largest automaker, and he passed away at the age of 57. So
I was waiting for you to say he was 107.
no, in 52 he passed away.
Okay.
In 2009, Rick Wagner, the chairman and chief executive of the troubled automotive giant General Motors, resigns at the request of the Obama administration. During Wagner's 8 years at the top of General Motors, the company lost billions of dollars and tens of thousands of employees, of which I was one. And in 2008, General Motors was surpassed by Toyota as the world's top producing maker of cars and
And
trucks.
Rick was ultimately shot in the firing squad. And that was the end of
the
Rick.
day after the White House announced Wagner was going to resign, President Obama stated that General Motors would have to undergo a fundamental restructuring in the next 60 days in order for the government to consider loaning any more money
How
to them.
sad is that?
And
what a legacy! Way to go, Rick.
well, yeah, what a complete waste
Worthless,
of money
yes.
when you look at how
Yeah.
they spent money foolishly and a lot of the design work and stuff and engineering work. That
The Aztec.
the Aztec.
A fool and his money is soon parted.
Well, and
As we all know.
Yep. So that is this week in automotive history.
Good
As we
Lord, that
start
was a
on
long auto
We
history.
start on a grenade.
It's a
end
busy
on
week.
grenade.
Yes. Okay. All right. So some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week include, NHTSA, National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, has come out with a new format. And to really alert people that are signed up to them, oh my God, this is a disaster waiting to happen. So it's a different kind of sheet of paper.
For recalls.
Yeah. Owners of select Hyundai and Genesis vehicles should park their cars outside and away from homes, other structures, and other flammable materials such as vegetation until their vehicles have been repaired due to a new and separate recalls of the risk of a thermal event.
Right.
Model year 2015 to 16 Hyundai Genesis.
Wonder if that would burn their hands.
2017 to 2020 Genesis G80, and 2019 to 2021 Genesis G70. Thank you. I hear you over there. I appreciate it. We're done with that. Seems that the anti-lock brake system modules could malfunction internally and cause an electrical short over time, potentially resulting in a thermal event while parked or driving.
Well, Ford went through this as well. It was a cruise control switch that was attached to the brake system, and as it would short, it could possibly ignite brake fluid. So
Oh, but wait, we're not done.
There's more.
I could top that.
GM and Chevrolet vehicles.
Oh, boy.
GM issued a safety recall for certain model year 20 and 21 Chevy Express and GMC Savannah vehicles with 6.6-liter gasoline engines.
Which I didn't think existed.
If a short circuit does occur, drivers may get a low battery voltage warning. The battery may die, or a fire may occur in the engine compartment.
Yeah, either the check engine light comes on or smoke comes billowing
Out of the
through
hood,
there.
well, your choice.
Are those the full-size vans?
Yeah.
I was thinking,
And it hasn't changed in 40 years because I'm driving one. They don't look any different than they did.
all
back
I
in
can
the-
think of is that the check engine light comes on, and out of the little hole in the middle of it comes smoke shooting out of it,
Like
and
a
a
little
warning.
flamethrower.
Warning, Will Robinson, fire, fire.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
God almighty. We have other recalls to tell you.
But none as fun as those.
No, that's exactly right. Mercedes-Benz Sprinters from the 2019 through 2020 model year, models 1500, 2500, 3500, and 4500, the brake pedal bolt could come loose. Oh, my God.
Only once, right? The brake pedal falls off.
I'm seeing a theme here. There's a trend with the vans.
Relay may short and cause fire on a certain model Ram pickup trucks, 2500, 3500, 4500, 5500 for the 2021 model year. Oops. Turn the page. Incorrect wheel nuts may cause the wheel separation on the Nissan Rogue for the 2021 model year. Somebody put the wrong nuts on the dang assembly line. Oh, my God. That would be me. Who did that? Oh, it was Don. Don did it. Oh, Don.
Well, you gotta look at-
Don.
There's a hardness rating of nuts and bolts, and if
I
they don't
can
meet
only
that, it
imagine, and I don't
fractures
even want to need to go there.
Sounds like a supply issue.
It probably was.
I was gonna say, it probably was.
We don't need to go there. I'm
Got it.
just telling you because it's going down a road that we don't want to go down at this time of the morning. Axle shaft missing missing a retaining ring on the 2021 Chevy Camaro. That's being
So
recalled.
your shaft would fall off.
Yeah.
Your shaft would fall off.
They use those C-clips, and they've used those C-clips for years. So I'm sure the
And I think
So that's something you joint.
no, it's in the.
I want
axle's
to show you this, and I'm going to put these two pages together of the recalled Mercedes-Benz models.
Do I need a close-up?
Look
on
at the.
that? Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Those are all individual models of Mercedes.
everything they sold.
Roof panel made detach. Glass panel made detach.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
my-
probably not real good.
No, that's not going to be a good thing.
Hey, Martha.
I imagine that's probably quite expensive to fix.
Yeah, well, that's it for the recalls. I think we're done with that.
So you heard Doug Feehan with Corvette Racing. He led Corvette Racing for 25 years and led Corvette to 14 championships, 13 manufacturers championships and drivers championships, 113 race wins. And last year he was summarily dismissed by Chevrolet and as the program director. Well, he's being brought back again as the Corvette brand manager to the racing program, and he's still going to work under Laura Klauser.
And so he's going to go back. Oh, I'm sorry. It's all been a mistake.
Yeah, he's going to go to work under Laura Klauser, who replaced him as the racing boss, and they're going to bring him back for the Detroit Grand Prix.
Wow.
So it's kind of nice to have him back. He's got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge.
All right, well, that's it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Show. We have more coming up. We invite you to stay with us.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 and Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise-in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In real time, we'll be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show. Coming up, we talk with the head of the Jeep brand, Mr. Jim Morrison. Jeff's going to review our pre-owned car of the week, the 2018 Subaru Forester. We'll have a look at some upcoming racing events, plus Conrad's Car Clinic, and the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more coming up on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, April 4th, 2021. Hey, it's Easter weekend and spring is in the air. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong. Jeff is in the corner where he needs to be. You saw him just a moment ago. I'm Don Armstrong, so glad that you could join us today.
And joining us right now via Zoom is Mr. Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand. Good morning. Good morning, Jim. I did say Jeep brand, didn't I? I was going to say the Jim brand, but it's going to get to that eventually, I'm sure.
It'll be Jim brand, yeah. One of these days.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Hey, welcome.
So we really didn't call to talk to you at all. We wanted to see the cat.
Elliot.
Well,
Where's Elliot?
Elliot. He's out and about today, so we'll see if
He's
pops
on
in.
a walkabout.
Okay. Well, Jim, it's great to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday. I know that you don't have anything going on and nothing to do. We wanted to talk to you today about a couple of things, and I guess let's start off with all of it's fun stuff for us. Let's talk about Moab and Jeep and the connection between the two. Why is Moab so important?
Because you get a free hat when you go to Moab.
Jeep Safari Moab, yeah.
Well, you can also get a badge.
We could also get one of those dash badges too, couldn't we?
Yeah, the thing about Moab is you go there and you get a free hat. So it's actually pretty cool. Just got back here a couple of days ago. But it is, as you know, Moab is Jeep's home away from home. And when you take a look at, we have probably 15,000 people coming to Moab over a period of a week over the Easter holiday, and they line up and get in groups and do trails, and lots of camaraderie and lots of really cool Jeep stuff. And we always, as a brand, they've been doing that for over 50 years now with Moab, kind of organically. The Red Rock Wheelers run it. It's called Easter Jeep Safari, and that's where all of the guys get together and run trails.
Do you guys have offices out there? I mean, do you have like a Jeep standalone building? Come on in and sign up for this or ask us questions, that sort of stuff.
We probably should, but we don't. It's a small town. It's around 5,000 people. And, our engineers are there a lot, running the trails, making sure our future vehicles are up to the task and kind of pushing the limits on our four-wheel drive development. And then we go there whenever we can to make sure that we stay connected with our customers. And that's really what it's all about.
And your customers, Moab is a destination experience for every Jeep owner.
Oh, it is. And, whether you get to go there or whether you dream about it, it's part of, if you have Jeep on your vehicle, it's part of, what you can dream about. And I've said a number of times that, 100% of Jeep customers take their vehicles off road. Some just do it in their mind, and, some are lucky enough to be able to get out to Moab and run the trails. And that's what the Jeep brand is all about.
How many Jeeps show up out there for this Easter weekend event?
We often say around 15,000 people, and there's, 2 or 3 people per Jeep. So, it's, 5,000 or 6,000 Jeeps roll into town. It's pretty incredible when you can, double the population of a town with just the number of Jeeps rolling in. Some people haul their rigs in, some people drive them in, and it's a combination of everything. But it's, some vintage Jeeps, some brand new Jeeps right off the showroom floor. There's some Jeeps that people have spent the last year, modifying and upgrading, with wheels and tires and lifts and axles. So there's all kind of customization that goes on, and it's just so cool to talk to the customers. And you're kind of either standing in the parking lot at the hotel or standing in the Jeep stand. We had a really cool solar panel there, so that was attracting a lot of people. So we were really going through that. And or talking to them on the trail. It's it's great to talk about what they've invested into Jeep and what they've invested into their rig and how they've updated it for this year. It's all about that lifestyle.
Well, one of the cool things about buying a Jeep, because I do a lot of business with Jeep dealerships, is you can get that crate of Jeep stuff, the upgrade stuff you guys sell through your parts accessories division. The dealership can install it with all of the lift kits and accessories through the Jeep website as well.
Yeah, the Jeep performance parts are really, where the customers start to get into upgrading their rigs and really, start to customize. I think almost every one of our Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Gladiators are customized to some degree. and really, part of what makes Jeep the Jeep experience.
Jim, as the head of Jeep, and you get to go to things like Moab and other Jeep events, and mainly Wrangler type events like that. How does that make you, Jim Morrison, feel as a person? Well, I mean, that has to be a huge ego trip.
Well, I think one of the things that we're kind of very humble about is the way we connect with our customers and the way that we listen to our customers, and I think that's what separates us from everybody else. We're just kind of the temporary custodians of the brand, and it's really the customers that run the brand. And when you take a look at the things that we brought to Moab this year, whether it be the concepts or the 392 or vehicles that we had out there last year, or pardon me, the year before, because it was COVID ridden, not here last year.
Yeah, but, sad.
The Gladiator or the diesel, those are all things that were kind of brought to us by customers on the trail saying, hey, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? And 9 times out of 10 they've already done it to their own vehicles and are asking us to make it a little bit easier for making it available from the factory, and that's what we did with the 392 is a great example of that.
Well, and even to go back to the suspension, because now you guys have a disconnectable sway bar as well, and that's been in your portfolio for a couple of years. Again, something requested by your customers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure what's happened there. With
we got a technical issue here in the studio.
Somebody's phones started sounding off.
Yeah. Oops.
But
talking to Siri.
Yeah. Well,
but yes, no, that's a great example. And we the thing with the Jeep customers is they're always trying to upgrade their Jeep so that they can go to more aggressive trails and do more challenging things. And that disconnecting sway bars is one of the things that really helps with the articulation. You want to have the rubber on the road so that you can put the traction down and keep the Jeep going up the event. So that sway bar disconnecting really helps. We've done it on Wrangler and Gladiator, and you guys will see here later this year. We might even expand that to another Jeep that is famous at winning SUV at Texas, so we'll keep pushing the limits.
Well, thanks for the hint.
Well, you've always managed to come up with new and exciting things, and as far as new things in the portfolio, it's full.
Yeah, it is. We last Tuesday we introduced the 392. It's on sale, shortly at the dealerships. We've got the Wrangler 4xe, the electric Wrangler, not far behind that later this month, coming on sale. That's amazing, 470 pound-feet of torque, instantly a Jeep as soon as it climbs with all that power. But it gets, 20 miles of range, 49 mpge, great stats for a Jeep, but it's a blast. We were wheeling it off-road, with the team, and it's amazing what a completely quiet electric Jeep does off-road. So we can't wait to share that with you guys as well. And then right after that, we've got this thing called Jeep Grand Cherokee in the L version, the long version. It's a 3-row.
Yeah.
And I was actually supposed to do this interview from sitting inside mine, with Elliot the cat here today, but. They actually somebody miscalculated, and it needed to go to California for a movie shoot, so it's on its way to California. So I don't have it in my driveway anymore for that, but it's okay. We'll just get Elliot. He's the star anyway. And then right after that, we've got Grand Wagoneer coming back to the marketplace.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
But yet there's more after Grand Wagoneer. Then we come back with a a 2-row Grand Cherokee, and an electric version of that as well. So that's just our year in a nutshell, and not to mention the fact that it's the 80th year of Jeep. So we've got some special editions for the 80th anniversary as well. So there's a whole lot going on at Jeep. That's
Jim.
for sure.
I want to drill down with you a little bit more about the Wagoneer, and from what I've read, the Wagoneer is really going to be an upscale version of most SUVs that we've not seen before.
Yeah, it is. It's lined up to go head to head with the best and better, in the SUV market, and Texas is the biggest full size or large SUV market in the world, and you can imagine everything is bigger in Texas, and they love big stuff like that. So,
yeah.
We're coming bigger and better. We'll see it here at the Houston Auto Show not too long.
Great.
But the Grand Wagoneer is amazing. It's we have a Wagoneer kind of in the $60,000 range, and a Grand Wagoneer in the $80,000 range, and it'll top out just over 100. But the new Grand Wagoneer makes you feel like $1 million. It's incredible. It's got a 6.4 V8 in it, tow 10,000 pounds.
Wow.
You open the door, and it's got more wood, leather, and real metal than anybody else in the marketplace. It's got 75 inches of screens, and of course it's an extension of the Jeep brand, kind of up into the premium space with where Grand Wagoneer is, and of course it's very capable as well. So that's got 3 4-wheel drive systems that keep that machine moving wherever you want to point it, and it's incredible. But it's made to go head to head with the best, and clearly get back to the top of the game. When we left, Grand Wagoneer was at the top of its game. In fact, a little known fact, here, in 2021 is that Grand Wagoneer had the highest demographic of any vehicle sold, income of any vehicle sold in America, higher than Porsche, Ferrari, all that stuff. So, it's got a great history, and we're really proud to bring that back to America.
Jim, can you talk about Jeep standalone stores? I hear that there are going to be actual Jeep standalone stores, and as opposed to Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Yeah, there's some of our dealers. We've got about 40 of them now, and they're piecing pieces of their dealerships off to just focus on Jeep. We've got 7 vehicles now, moving to 8 with Grand Wagoneer, and there's lots in their portfolio. So they build showrooms and dealerships around the whole Jeep experience. So you go in, and it's feels like you're walking into a trail in Moab, and really kind of embraces the complete Jeep experience, right from the displays to their showroom all the way through the dealership, and that's something that their dealers are really investing in us as we continue to grow, and it's really special to be in one of those showrooms.
Yeah,
and the dealers have got to be excited about that, to get a separate brand and a separate showroom for their Jeep customers, and then get a dedicated sales staff for their Jeep customers as well.
Yeah, they really find that the people that are looking for Jeep vehicles have got a mindset, and then when they walk into the dealership, they get a better sense of that mindset, and it really does help make the customer experience even better.
Well, I mean, that has got to be a real good feel-good point for you, ahead of Jeep, and now the dealers are getting their own dealership, a standalone dealership for the Jeep brand. I mean, that speaks volumes, because that just does not happen every day.
Yeah, it doesn't, and good illustration of how they've got confidence in us, and obviously they know a little bit about our future portfolio and how we're going to continue to grow, and they're just trying to stay ahead of it with building really nice standalone Jeep dealerships.
Yeah, because it's a huge investment in your future that the dealerships are that confident to do.
Yeah. How are things over on the Gladiator side, Jim?
Well, Gladiator just had its best month ever in the month of March. So I would say, Gladiator's holding its own, continuing to grow. In fact, really happy to report as well that Wrangler had its best 2 quarters ever in the history of Jeep. So Q4 and Q1 were the best ever Wrangler quarters in a row. And, we were able to grow Gladiator as well. So Gladiator had its best first quarter, and its best month ever with selling almost 9,000 Gladiators on top of the 20,000 Wranglers. So, it's great to have people really embracing the Jeep brand and kind of reaching out for freedom. I think America needs it more than ever, and we've got the vehicles to back it up. And I have to say, after kind of being in Moab for 4 or 5 days here earlier this week, the feeling and the strength of the brand has never been stronger. With just that great feeling of freedom, adventure, and we do it in a way with authenticity, and passion that nobody else can. So, the brand is continuing to grow, but I think it's really, again, driven by our customers and the overall, sense of adventure and freedom that they're looking for here in their daily lives, and we can deliver that for them when you put a Jeep in the driveway.
That's the whole Jeep lifestyle. Getting out and about.
Out and about, exactly.
So did you bring a 4xe to Moab with you?
We did. We actually, they're a lot of fun to wheel. In fact, I had a competition with the guy that runs the Wrangler franchise, and we were trying to see who could get through the trail on full electric and still have the most battery power left at the end. So I squeaked it out by a couple of percentage points. Brandon Grimace, you guys know Brandon.
Yes, we do.
He had 32% battery left, and I had like 35% battery left. So I actually think it didn't even come down to the driving skill on the trail. I think it came down to who turned it off when the groups stopped at an event to wait to watch others go up. But I think that was really the what drove my Wrangler over the edge to win. But I can tell you, it's an absolute blast to drive. It's got instant torque. And, you take the doors off and the top off, and really all you can hear is the power steering moving, and it just goes up, and it's just as quiet as can be. And it's a lot of fun.
Of course,
Can't wait to get you guys in it in a few weeks.
Of course, I'm just guessing, but I would imagine that the Jim Morrison head of Jeep guy would probably have access to the whole coaching staff up there at Stellantis and the Jeep brand. That's all I'm just saying. I'm just guessing,
Yeah. I've probably spent a little more time in it than Brandon. That was fair to say too. But in fact, I had a lot of fun over the holidays with my boys wheeling, and even at the Holly Off-Road Park here, because we had a Wrangler 392 and we had a Wrangler 4xe. So we were kind of doing lead follow all around the off-road track over there, and seeing who could do better. And it was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure all the Jeep customers that are out there like following you around too, because you have all the new toys.
Yeah, there's a lot of new toys. In fact, it was neat. We had a crazy snowstorm here a couple of weeks ago, and I had a new Grand Wagoneer in the driveway. It was still in camo form, so we had a lot of really cool things in the driveway. But we're always testing things and pushing them to the limits.
Well, I just have to say that we all want to be you.
Or Elliot.
One of the two. Yeah, Elliot. Yeah.
It does. I have to say that lately it does come with a limited amount of sleep. I got some time between 3 and 5 in the morning usually, but other than that, there's so much going on. We're full throttle.
Is Moab only once a year for you?
It is. Yeah. It's called the Easter Jeep Safari, and it runs. The run this year. They're all the trails you're running.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
But I don't know the exact dates now, to be honest. It's still on right now. I think they went from the 27th to through Sunday.
And it's kind of like going to a big ski resort, because different trails have different skill levels and different requirements to ride on them as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best thing. And whether you're there for 2 days, you get to ride your favorite trails, experience something new. I know some people talk to some of the customers out there. They're there for a whole week, some 10 days, and they get to drive. They try to drive every trail.
Wow.
And the Red Rock Wheelers do a really nice job. They set up drives each day at each of the trails. So you can, if you don't know or are not aware of the trail, you can go to the organized drive, and the trail guide will drive you through it. And there's usually 20, 30 Jeeps along with those drives. Or if you just want to venture off on your own, you can do that too. And obviously, with 2 or 3 Jeeps, together, that's kind of usually what happens as people head out. But it's a great experience, and the view is just incredible. The geography is incredible. You can see caves and obviously the arches. and then all of the there's even some dinosaur tracks and stuff around. It's incredible to see how that land was formed to make it just an absolute breathtaking destination.
And there's no other brand out there that has that kind of relationship with their customers.
That's the coolest thing about 80 years. We're happy to stay, very, lined up, and it's probably our best advantage, with our customers, being the ones that drive the brand. After 80 years, it's really the best part about being part of Jeep.
Well, Jim, we've got the Houston Auto Show coming up in May, and we're going to be there. And you've been to a lot of rock concerts, haven't you?
No, not very many. To be honest.
Well,
you're going to try to make me sing, though, aren't you?
No. I'm not going to ask you to do that. I just wanted to say, usually at the rock concerts, will invite special people back to the dressing room for a limited one-on-one. And I'm thinking,
backstage.
Yeah, backstage. And I'm thinking, well, maybe we could ask Jim if he could allow us into the dressing room or backstage when you come to visit the Houston Auto Show in May.
The best place to be will be in the front seat of probably the Grand Wagoneer, maybe then the Grand Cherokee. You'll probably want to fire up and listen to the 392 Wrangler, and then you'll probably want to just listen to how quiet the 4xe Wrangler is too. So that's probably going to be the best backstage pass is sitting in our new Jeeps.
Well, Jim, you're the man. We sure appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday to talk with us, and we will see you in May, my friend.
Good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, Jim Morrison, head of the Jeep brand, on the line with us there. Okay, time now for this hour's car review, and Mr. Jeffrey Zekin has the pre-owned car of the week, and this week it is the 2018 Subaru
2018. We've had a lot of calls for this. I think George is wanting to get this done for many, many months. He thinks it's a Bernie Sanders type vehicle, which it could be. So this is a 2018 Subaru Forester. It's a touring all-wheel drive. We have the trim levels of Limited, Premium, and Touring. Again, this is a Touring all-wheel drive. It is an SUV, 5-passenger. Designs for the front and fascias and exterior roofline is really minimal over the years. The past 3 years have been kind of minimal. This being a 218, you're going to see a little bit of antiquated design features based 4 years ago. Sport grille, body side moldings, door edge guards, the colored fascia. You've got the nice spoked wheels there. You've got the rear deck. You've got the luggage rack on the top rack. Not really a whole bunch of fancy stuff on there, but it is functional, and Subaru is known for the functionality of their vehicles. On the interior, you start out with 8 speakers, satellite radio, and 440 watts of power.
I feel like I need to put on my tweed suit while I'm driving this for some reason.
You could, and your red pumps, that would match. Yeah. You've got keyless entry. You've got some leather options. You've got heated seats, heated steering wheel. Nice pod there. You've got touchscreen. You've got big dials. I like the dials. I don't like the dial on the console type. I like it up on the dash where you can see it. You know what you're touching. And, of course, the steering wheel has all of its functions there as well. Moving over to the power side of it, it is a 2-liter XT flat turbo CVT dual overhead cam. That's a mouthful there. So what you're looking at is 250 on the horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 258 at 2,000 RPM with a continuous variable speed automatic transmission, which I think is pretty cool. Ratings in the city are 23 miles to gallon. Highway is 27 with a combined of 25. It does ask for premium fuel. But
turbos, direct injected turbo. It probably should.
It probably should.
And Subaru's as big a proponent of CVT transmissions as Nissan is. Almost their whole platform is CVT transmissions.
It's a quality thought. Yeah. Absolutely. You've got, so far as the suspension, ride and handling, you got front and rear stabilizers. You got electric power steering. You're rolling on 225 55/17 H-rated alloy wheels. so far as the aspect ratio for the tires. Now, these vehicles range from anywhere on the 2018, anywhere from $28,000 to $36,000
Used
pre-owned,
Wow.
and of course that's based on condition, mileage, and so on. Those are variables there. But the thing that stood out to me, there's 28 federal 5-star safety awards for Subaru, not just in the Forester, but collectively. You've got residual value awards because they are holding their value. Not necessarily in all parts of the country, but they do have the respect of the owners.
Yeah. They have a passionate owner base.
Absolutely. And they've got Kelley Blue Book Awards for value as well. 11 exterior colors, 2 interior colors, and you're looking at like vehicles so far as base of the year. Volvos and Infinitis are like vehicles. So you're wondering, well, how does that Subaru logo fit into my world? Well, Subaru is extremely popular due to its precise assembling, high passability of many useful features. Now, what does the Subaru word mean in Japanese? Well, it's a 6-star logo, and the logos are Subaru or Pleiad in English. Pleiad is P-L-E-I-A-D, Pleiad in English. Those are 6 bright stars in the Pleiad cluster, which shine from a distant Taurus constellation. So all of you Taurus people, you're probably liking Subarus as well. It's the dark background. Logo symbolizes...
I'm a Sagittarian myself.
Well, there you go. They have shots for that. They have...
I thought you were an octogenarian.
The dark background and the logo symbolizes the night sky, where the 4-pointed chrome stars shine. Pleiad is the most romantic of constellations. So all you Taurus people, you're romantic. Now, Kenji Kita, the first president of Subaru, wanted the authentic name of the Japanese car. You might already notice the phases of the 6 stars. Translation resembles the word Subaru to a great extent. This is where the relationship began to symbolize the constellation.
We got it.
Okay. When the company was founded, 6 different companies were merged and united. Each has its own star in the logo. So that's what the 6 stars are.
So all we really needed to know is there was originally 6 companies, and
Okay, there you go.
I'm just saying.
I'm just wasting time.
Yeah, that's it.
The stars and the logo were silver first.
Of which we don't have.
Then they went gold. Then they're transparent. I'm using Conrad's time right now. The end.
No, you use Conrad's time
yours.
and everybody else. So we're going to do the racing calendar at the beginning of the next half hour because Jeff has run over and I need to stay on time. Would you be mad at me if...
Not at the least.
Okay.
How could I ever be mad at you, Don?
Oh, listen, everybody else is, so you might as well join the club. Stop. All right. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, Podcast Addict.
Can't do that all in one breath.
No, you cannot. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 in Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise-in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In Real Time will be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Spit it out. Spit it out.
Oh, my gosh. Your weekly go-to all things automotive place today. Coming to you from Studio A in Texas, USA. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, and Jeff Zekin, I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today, and thank you very much. Well, I'll tell you what, I woke up this morning, my sinuses were pouring. I don't know what happened last night. I went to a restaurant, had some Mexican food with Jeff and Kathy Zekin.
I'll put my mask on.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, it was like, whoosh, I had no clue. It was bad.
There's this little front coming through doing things.
Well, I think it's the pollen in the air.
Gee, I thought it was the tequila.
And it could, and mixed with the tequila. There was a little bit of a, never mind.
Tequila won't fix everything, but it's worth a shot.
Good.
Worth a few shots.
I like that.
There you go.
So I promised that we would, because we ran a little bit over last half hour, that we would do the racing calendar. And I have first up
Tonight.
at Houston Motorsports Park.
Be there.
It's the Gulf Coast Racing Series Spring Speed Fest presented by Advance Auto Parts. Gates open at 5. Racing begins at 6:10 p.m. It includes Pro Trucks, Modifieds, Outlaws, EcoStocks, Superstocks, NASCARts, and Legacies. Tickets, $15 for adults, $5 for kids, vets, also $5 as well as seniors, hot dogs for $1, and beers for $1. Okay.
Sweet.
Well worth the trip. It's NASCAR in Houston. It's a great value. You need to go out there. It's real easy to get to out off of Beltway 8.
Great venue.
Support local racing, circle track racing.
So NASCAR's taking the weekend off, and next weekend they'll be at Martinsville Saturday night, and then the weekend after that on the 18th they'll be at Richmond. And then on the 24th, they'll be at Talladega, which tends to be a fun race to watch. But,
especially at the end.
Yeah, especially at the end. They come to Circuit of the Americas May 23rd, so that'll also be a great race to go to. Indycar is going to start up on the 16th of April with the Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama. And then NHRA comes back. Their schedule was kind of a mess.
Wonky.
So they come back in 2 weeks for the 4-Wide Nationals in Las Vegas, and then on May 2nd they're going to have the Southern Nationals in Atlanta. So, and I think that's going to be the final race in Atlanta, if I remember correctly.
Yes. And then they're coming into Houston.
Yes.
For the Spring Nationals.
That's right. That's May 21st through the 23rd.
And we will be there.
We will be
there.
And come on out and say hi. And then Formula One's they had their first race last weekend. Their next one is going to be the 18th in Romania.
Are we going to be there?
Romania.
Yeah,
We're not going to be there?
I don't think so. Not this time.
Okay.
So that's all the local and national racing news.
Local.
But we have more racing news to talk about.
More racing.
Well, I think
Yes.
there's a few Wallies involved. I wonder if we'll see the dancing Wallies.
I want to see the moving
this
Wallies.
time, you
Well,
know.
so let's go down to the Dancing Wally headquarters down right off the Gulf Freeway and speak with Mr. Gary Emmons with the Emmons Motorplex. Howdy, sir. I don't know why you got.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Well, we're doing very well. We don't know why you got dressed up on. Oh, it's because you got customers in the showroom, not because of us. Well, darn. I just thought you got dressed up because of us.
No, I'm celebrating you guys 10 years doing such a phenomenal job. So I thought, why not dress for the occasion?
Well, thank you very much. Yes.
We all did.
Yeah, he even looks good at the drag strip. And speaking of drag strips, I assume that you're going to have the full. I was going to say the full Monty, but that would be the wrong.
No.
That would be the wrong thing to say.
Please don't.
It would be the full tilt of
Compliment.
the Emmons Brothers racing phenomenon that goes on in Baytown at least once or twice a year.
We certainly will. You know, next weekend we have our second Lucas Oil Divisional Series race that will be held out at Baytown. So we'll have all of our cars there. And one thing that's very exciting for us this year is my 20-year-old nephew, Will, who's the son of our older brother, Speedy. He's actually competing in stock eliminator this year. So he's driving one of our big block 69 Camaros. So we are really excited to have him with us.
That is absolutely awesome. So it's got
They're adding to the family.
There you go.
Yeah. And so it looks like the Emmons brothers are going to have the continuation of a great racing team going forward, kind of like the Coughlins and you know all of the other great racing names in NHRA.
I certainly hope so. You know, one of the biggest things that my dad really enjoyed about racing was not just the cars and the performance and the winning, but he liked the fact that his entire family was together week in and week out. So to have Will join us this season and for what we hope to be many more down the road, it's going to be something special for all of us.
Yeah. And what young man doesn't want to sit behind the wheel of a big block Camaro?
Really?
Especially 1969 big block Camaro.
Exactly. Yeah, Don will be out there trying to get in behind the 69.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
kind of.
Yeah, I've got a thing for 69 Camaros. I don't know what it is, but it's.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
Yep. So, how are things going in the racing world with the Emmons brothers so far this year?
So we've been to one Lucas Oil Series event this season, and our brother Speedy, who's actually back after a 4-year hiatus, made it to the final round before he was defeated. But hey, what a way to make a comeback!
Yeah.
First race in 4 years and gets right to the final round.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 cars now that just finished up their wraps from Lucas Oil Products on Easter Sunday. So not only tomorrow are we going to be enjoying an Easter lunch, but we're going to spend the remaining half of the day getting the cars put all back together for the event this weekend.
That sounds like 2 tons of fun in my world. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about the used car lot, if you will. And it's
Autoplex.
You didn't let me finish again. Conrad's one of those kind of guys that likes to finish my sentences, and
It's like being married.
I can see what he's thinking.
yeah, and so he does that quite frequently. So I was going to say it isn't actually a used car lot. I mean, this is a megaplex down there in a beautiful facility right off the Gulf Freeway, and we call because we want to know about the pre-owned market, if you will. I know the last time we talked, you were keeping your head above water, but the inventory was a problem trying to keep up with the inventory on the lot because cars were flying off the shelves down there.
They were, and luckily, there's 4 brothers that really run the dealership, myself being one of the 4. Well, 3 of them are tasked with the responsibility of purchasing inventory for the dealership. And prior to March, we had just a little bit over 750 vehicles in inventory. So that set us up for what ended up being a record-setting March. We finished, I believe the final count was 408 retail vehicles being sold. So
Wow.
that doesn't count what we wholesaled at the auction. What we retailed was 408.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys you're an independent dealer. You're not part of a network, are you?
No. This is solely the Emmons brothers collaboration of events and
It's a family-owned
all the
operation.
years.
Yeah.
And how is used car values working as new cars are struggling because they can't get inventory with Chevrolet, Ford, and a lot of other manufacturers are down on production because they can't get chips to get their cars running. Is that helping used car valuations?
Like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
If the old days, people try to buy vehicles based on book values, even dealers, they go to the auction. If you try to buy a vehicle today in today's market based off of book value, you will leave the auction with 0 inventory.
Yeah, you'd be happy to buy them at book value today.
Oh, the book just goes right out the window. Look, just for an example, 2019, it sold this week at the auction, 2019 Chevy Corvette. It was a ZR1. Now it had 5,000 miles, so obviously it's a Corvette. It's a special one, right?
Right.
Sticker, MSRP on that car when it was new was $133. It sold for $149 at the auction.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh!
That tells-
It's kind of like the housing community and what's going on with that. I mean, it's off the charts.
Well, think about it. It's sold in a wholesaler's auction, so by the time it turns around to retail, it's going to sell at a price above that.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just incredible what these values are and just everything. Having so much inventory, we have just about anything you could possibly want. And it's kind of interesting. I'll look at the end of the night and look on the sales report list just to see if I can see a trend of what's selling.
Right.
I mean, there's not a trend. It's everything. But it's got to be something special. It can't be kind of like a Hertz Rent-A-Car type inventory piece. It needs to be, leather roof nav, windows, locks, wheels, that kind of thing.
Right, the more upscale cars, because that's what people expect, especially in my estimation, in the pre-owned market. If I'm going to buy a pre-owned car, I'm willing to pay more for the pre-owned car, but it's still going to be cheaper than buying a new car. So why not go for the gold?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we all know how the prices of trucks and SUVs have escalated over the years, especially now what it would cost to buy, a new Escalade. Don, you did a review on a 2021 last week, and we all know how much over sticker those are selling for if you wanted to buy a new one.
Right.
So then I heard there was a 6-month waiting list on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me. Have you seen one? Have you driven one yet?
I have not.
I'll tell you what. When you drive one of those, or even the Chevy Tahoe. Oh my gosh, it's a new world altogether when it comes to those vehicles.
That's a beautiful vehicle. I rode in that.
The ride in that thing with that independent rear suspension, it changed the whole game.
Sure.
So Gary, let me ask you. We were talking to Jim Morrison with Jeep a few minutes ago. How about Jeeps? How are the Jeep Wranglers and Gladiators and stuff working for you?
Oh my gosh, those things are just. I was just telling one of my brothers last night when we were leaving that I don't believe there is a day that goes by that we don't sell a Jeep Wrangler. And I'm saying just one, but we sell multiples. We have the largest selection of pre-owned Jeeps in the entire Houston area. So we have stock Jeeps, we have lifted Jeeps. It's just such an incredible diversity of
product
people's preferences, really. I mean, you get some with lifts and wheels and light bars and just all kinds of really cool stuff on them.
And spring's coming up. People are wanting to get out and about. I bet that's what makes me want a Jeep. I want the doors off of it. I want to be out and about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So where are things looking? Would you brothers sit down quite frequently together and talk about the pre-owned business?
Where the market's moving.
Yeah, and you know what you've done in the past, and I know that there's got to be talk about, okay, well, this worked last month, and this is the way things are kind of trending. Let's see if we can buy some of these vehicles. I mean, what is the conversation like?
So it's interesting that you even asked that question because there's no. In terms of a business plan, our business plan is something we've just developed over the years. It's kind of what we feel like the market's doing, right? If we see inventory, we'll take risk, certainly, right? But if it's loaded with options and has good mileage, we're buying it. I'm not a real big fan of German cars. We carry them because there's a market for them. But when you sell those things and they're outside of the manufacturer warranty, the extended service contracts get quite pricey. Yeah. And that makes it a little tough on the consumer. However, every week we look at the run sheets of what's available to be purchased. And if it's loaded with options and good miles, we're going to buy it. Or at least we're going to do everything we can to acquire it for the inventory.
Try, yeah.
So how far out will you go to an auction as far as time and distance?
We don't really have – the only thing – that we have as a disqualifier for us is anything north, in the states where you get a lot of rust and have to buy something that it may have 30 or 40,000 miles on it, but it'd have a lot of corrosion underneath. We try to stay away from stuff like that.
Well, that's just smart because your customers are going to notice that pretty quickly, and you don't need that kind of.
A touch over 95% of our business is done off the internet.
Either a lead
you do
or
have a small. Right. You do have a small percentage that will actually see us driving by on the way to work or to an event and just come in when it's time to buy a car. But 95, 96% are all generated off of the internet ad that they saw somewhere online.
And you as a dealer have quite an investment in that online presence because it's not just a matter of buying a car and snapping a Polaroid to put it online. You've got some kind of a photographer. You have a photo station that the cars are all staged in. And then you have somebody who has to basically work the internet for putting the vehicle up and then work the internet to take the leads that come in off the internet. It's a complex process.
It is. There's a lot of moving parts to make this work. We take a lot of pride in the photographs that we take. You see some dealerships with the photographs. I mean, they're just horrible. Mm-hmm. And, I guess they sell cars. I guess their consumers buy them. But, we want to do the very best we can to represent the type of inventory we have and it be an accurate depiction of what's here when you arrive.
Well, and that goes back to what you talked about, the condition reporting that you do online versus the condition reporting you might see from other auction sites that you're going to buy for. The higher quality you're delivering to your customers, the more word of mouth is going to happen that's going to gain you more customers.
That's right. You know, one thing I tell all of our sales team here is be extremely transparent with your customers. You know, a lot of people are driving, forget the ones that are coming in a couple hours away, even the guys that are going to, and ladies that will drive in 30 minutes across town. No one wants to waste their time. So, you know, walk out to the car, put your hands on it. If you see anything that you think that might be of concern, take a picture of it, text it over to the consumer that's looking at the vehicle, and just be very transparent up front. No one likes surprises. I don't like them, and I certainly don't want my customers to have to endure that.
And do you find a lot of the business you're doing, are you taking trades in on the new one, or are they just coming by and direct and not engaging on a trade in?
No, we have quite a big percentage of trade-ins here at the dealership. You know, I think people, you know, after about 3 years with a used car, sometimes 2.5, I think they're tired of it. I think they're ready to get something else. And that's generally what we see. Even if they didn't buy it from us, typically when you go back and do the research, they've owned it for probably 3 years is the average, and they'll turn it in and trade it in.
I got a daughter that she's going to turn it every 2 years. If she's lucky, her husband gets so mad because she's going to turn that car over every 2 years no matter what.
Well, you need to send them out to the Emmons.
Well, I have. I've told her to check online before she goes again.
That's right.
So,
you know,
go ahead,
Don.
No, go ahead. No, it's your turn.
Well, so, you know, there's a lot of competition, obviously, with online sales. So what was the old slogan years ago? Price sells cars, right? Well, it does at least grab your attention initially, but you better have the product when the customer gets to the dealership. And we take a lot of pride in the fact that our reconditioning, you know, we try to buy very, very nice cars to begin with. And we are very particular. If a car comes in with a little curb rash on a wheel, or if it has a little bit of, you know, those bug guts on the front bumpers, most people won't even address those items. We'll remove the bumper, respray the bumper, we'll fix the curb rash on the wheels, make sure the car has good tires on it. You know, so many things that happen behind the scenes that consumers just don't even process or factor into the equation when they're buying a pre-owned car. There's a lot of work that goes into making a car frontline ready where it's dependable and reliable for your consumer, and we take a lot of pride in that.
And that's one of the things about your Autoplex that a lot of people don't necessarily know is you're not just a used car operation. You know, you have a full operating service department, body shop, and all of the rest of that behind the building, where most other used car operations, all they do is sell cars, and then all the rest is handled by somebody else off property.
That's right. You know, it takes all four of us to make this dealership work to the level that it does. And, you know, we've actually have one back corner piece of property still undeveloped. And our plan for that is to actually make a bigger service department. And, you know, we see the need for it. There's a lot of consumers that we'd love to get in because they're just, you know, they've had a mechanic for 20 years, 25 years, and they trust them. And then all of a sudden they realize that that guy wasn't so trustworthy after all. And we're just here to treat the customers fairly, you know, and so many times I don't understand how people can price gouge customers, whether it's in anything, right? But in our industry, I see a lot of that on the mechanical side and on the body shop side of it. So we're going to, you know, we have the customer base.
Right.
We're going to try to actually incorporate that into our daily regime as well.
Yeah, you got 400 plus of them in March.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you consider it a dealership. You look at it differently. You know, it's not a used car lot like Don said. It is a dealership. You've got a different mentality about how to deal with the customers and the kind of service you're going to provide. And I think that's wonderful.
Gary, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's you know, you're looking sharp, my friend.
He is.
Let me just put it that way.
And I'll dress that for us.
And look at that smile. So we're going to see you at the racetrack and all of your throng of fans out there for the Emmons Brothers racing tribe. So again, thanks so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate all that you guys do. I love the dynamic between all of you guys, and poor Jeff, he never gets any camera time or very little. So
I love you, man. I tell you what, I'm going to come see you this week, and I'm going to make a selection out of your pre-owned inventory for next week's vehicle. How's that?
That's awesome. I'll glad to have you here.
All right. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, you can get hold of Gary down there at Emmons Autoplex. They're at 1423 FM 528 in Webster, Texas, right off the Gulf Freeway.
And I just linked him on our Facebook page.
Very nice. All right, time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. What are we going to talk about today on the clinic?
Well, last week we talked a little bit about air conditioning service, and this is kind of the time of season you want to make sure you're servicing the air conditioning.
Or if it's been dormant all winter long and didn't work at last fall, now's the time to bring it. Yes, you are.
Well, many car owners are pretty vigilant about regular maintenance as far as oil changes, tire rotations, brake pad replacements, all of those things. But you've also got to make sure you're paying attention to the climate control system in your vehicle, because if you're not doing something about it, you can get those funky smells out of it. You get the little bit of the burning eyes, especially as you first start the car up. And a lot of times that's caused by mold and mildew that builds up inside of the air conditioning evaporator case.
Or if Don Armstrong's been in the car.
Or if Don Armstrong has been in the car just before the show. Over the course of a single year, the climate control systems accumulate moisture, debris, mold, bacteria, mildew, and that all kind of grows inside that dark, damp air conditioning evaporator case. And that buildup of these contaminants, you want to make sure that you're in the springtime, you're doing something to kill all that mold, mildew, bacteria, and putting some kind of a viricide, antibacterial product in there. Over time, those conditions also can grow kind of mold on your cabin air filter. So you want to start your season off, replace the cabin air filter, remove all that debris that gets on top of the windshield vent right there in the front of the passenger side, all the leaves, all the pine pollen and stuff. Get all that out of there, and then replace the cabin air filter, spray or put a cleaner inside the evaporator case to kill all that mold and mildew that grows. You want to use
I would. I was expecting you to ask that.
Oh,
and
you want to use? He was expecting me to ask that. Though. That was pretty good.
I don't know how.
So you want to use it? You want to use an EPA and USA accepted disinfectant, deodorizer, and sanitizer. You can be confident that you can find hospital grade disinfectants out there that'll kill germs and deal with some of the viruses that are out there. And you can get an AC cleaning service that's going to fill up the evaporator case with a foam that has all of those agents in it to kill all the mold and mildew and bacteria that eventually will just drain out of the AC vent as well. And you want to do that because if you're not doing that, breathing that kind of stuff all the time can lead to allergies, sicknesses, and the rest. So you want to get ahead of that. If you've got asthma, emphysema, COPD, doing a service like that can prevent them from causing you more damage in the future. So safe tip is take out your old cabin air filter, clean it, spray a disinfectant in there, and start the season correctly.
Thank you, sir. A couple of headlines before we get to the top of the hour here. Ford Motor Company has temporarily stopped selling its home electric vehicle chargers and is directing dealers to third-party sites such as Amazon for generic versions of a key accessory as sales of its Mustang Mach-E ramp up. Automaker issued a stop sale for the $800 Ford-branded wall boxes on February 24th after it discovered some weren't working properly.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a thermal event.
Well, I was
waiting for it.
I was too. It didn't say that in this particular story, but I'm sure that there were a sum.
Well, either that or it's just not getting their vehicle charged, and then,
it's a mess.
Yeah.
So go buy it elsewhere. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Sorry. I had a bug in my throat.
said on Monday the White House will not propose hiking gasoline taxes or a new vehicle miles traveled fee to pay for a proposal to massively boost infrastructure spending. Congress has not boosted the 18.4-cent gasoline tax since 1993, and there's reason, if none other, than to boost the tax.
That's right. Well, it's not about...
What is this thinking about? Well, it's been 18 cents since 19... Well, we need to make more money, so let's boost the tax. Why?
It's never about the government doesn't have enough money. It's always about the government doesn't know how to slow their spending down.
Different show.
Hey, more than 65,000 vehicles from 6 automakers were added to the Auto Forecast Solutions weekly tally of vehicles that have been taken out of North American production schedules. They include 35,000 vehicles from Stellantis, including Pacifica Voyager, Cherokee, and Ram. 10,300 vehicles from Ram alone because they can't find chips.
It's getting chippy.
General Motors, 13,000 vehicles. Volkswagen, 11,000 vehicles. Toyota, 1,400. And Ford, 1,000 so far. So if you're in the market for a brand new car, hurry, because they're all going to go, we're out of inventory. All right. Well, that is it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Show. Hour number 3 starts right after this.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 and Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th, In Real Time will be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show. On today's 3-hour live program, we check in with West Coast car king Jack Nerad and the booming internet sales phenomenon in automobiles. Mr. Mars reviews the Toyota Supra. Can't wait for that. We talk to John Kraman about the upcoming Houston Mecum auction. We'll also check our weekly events calendar and have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show. It's Easter weekend, and it's Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff in the corner, Don Armstrong here. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. Let's get right to the left coast, shall we? His name is Mr. Jack Nerad. He's writer, editor, consultant, and host of the radio and podcast show, America on the Road. Jack, it's always good to see you, sir. Turn him on.
Really enjoying one of my favorite Saturday pastimes.
Oh, well, we appreciate that.
Kind of like baseball. Did the Cubs win or lose last evening?
Sadly, we lost. We lost our opener, and then we didn't play yesterday. In Chicago, they typically have a day off after opening day, just in case opening day is rained out or snowed out or there's some foul.
Snowed out, yeah.
We didn't play yesterday, but we're back at it today.
Well, the only reason I asked that is because I see the little wall
Wrigley
placard
Field.
there that says Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs. So
Absolutely.
I figured, are you from Chicago, Jack?
I am indeed. I am from Chicago, although I've lived in California for about 40 years now. So
I'm sorry.
I guess I could claim California as home, too.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot to be sorry about, especially these days. I'm toughing it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that you are.
Well, do you know that they don't serve beer now at the stadium because they lost the opener?
Lost the opener.
Ching.
Yeah, that's why we need more Jeff.
Yeah, we always need more
Leave
Jeff.
him in the corner.
Yeah, put him in the corner. So, Jack, let's talk today, if you don't mind. First of all, what are you driving out of the press fleet today, if you don't mind me asking?
I have a Volvo V60, which is one of those cars that I think only enthusiasts like, but they like it a lot, right? I mean, it's kind of a cool version, Polestar version of the Volvo smaller wagon. And so it's a pretty cool vehicle. But I think, and maybe you guys are not afflicted with this, but I think most enthusiasts are, and especially enthusiast writers and people who talk about cars a lot, is they love station wagons.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they love hot
Yeah,
station
no, huge wagon
right?
fan.
So, I mean, like a V-Series Cadillac station wagon, something like, that just gets us excited. Nobody else in the world cares at all.
Give me a Vista Cruiser. I'll take the Oldsmobile
betcha.
Vista Cruiser.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Right.
And Jack's going,
Well, so I
fruitcake.
just had to ask because we car guys get these press vehicles on occasion, and Jack is in the loop. So
And you call it work.
It is work. That's what I keep telling my wife. I tell her all the time.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Right. Well, Jack, so today I thought that we would talk just a little bit about the internet phenomenon and automobile sales. We just got off the line, and I don't know whether you heard part of that or not, with Gary Emmons down at a local car dealership here. Pre-owned inventory has been a problem. He's got that solved, but prices of used cars have gone through the roof. And it's like I mentioned when we were talking to him, it's kind of like new home, actually any kind of homes here in Texas, you can't find them. They put them up, they're asking market value for them, and then people start bidding on them, and pretty soon
Sell them over list.
Over list, and I mean significantly over list. And apparently the car industry is that way, and the used car side anyway. So what are you finding?
Well, I think COVID has changed so many things, and it's changed auto retailing in a big way. And it's, I think, one of the phenomena, I guess, you guys are running into in Texas is a lot of people are moving out of states like mine into states like yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is driving the housing market. I think it's also probably driving the used car market in Texas as well. A lot of people want to stay out of public transportation. A lot of people have relied on public transportation and are now going, I'm not going to get on that bus. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to stick around with us for a while. So those people are buying used cars. A lot of people are purchasing used cars, and it has changed retailing significantly because people don't want to necessarily go into a dealership and at least spend the amount of time that they used to spend in a dealership.
Well, I think that, right now, I think that if I were going to open a dealership, it'd be right along the border. I think that there would probably be a high demand for cars coming, those illegals coming across the border. Well, they're not illegals anymore, are they?
No, that's another show. So, Jack.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get Conrad started. So,
Don't get any of it started.
Exactly. So but I think also that the concept of when we say used cars, pre-owned, however you want to term it, when I'm thinking a used car, I'm thinking $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. But people now are looking at $30,000 and $40,000 used
easily.
pre-owned vehicles.
Well, I think, we recently on America on the Road, we did a long segment on certified pre-owned cars, which I think are really brilliant buys by people. Something 2-3 years old, maybe came off a lease, reasonable amount of wear and tear, a few miles on it, got a ton of extra life still in it. And I just think those are great buys. I bought one for my oldest daughter, who happens to be visiting with us from Dallas this week. And it's been terrific. I mean, we actually bought that car from a rental car agency or from Budget Rent-A-Car using their facilities. And it was like buying a certified pre-owned car because it had all that kind of coverage to it. So pretty amazing.
Maintenance and everything.
I've seen certified pre-owned sometimes has a better warranty than the original factory does because a CPO may come with a 12-month full warranty on it, and then a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on it when the factory's only offering 60. So I think there's a huge value in the CPOs that are out there.
I think with the Volkswagen we bought, we got an extra year more than we would have gotten had we bought a new Jetta. So I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's $4,000 or $5,000 less. Nobody in our neighborhood knew it wasn't a brand new car. It has tons of life in it. She's still driving it 4 or 5 years later. So,
plus in this case, you said she's in Dallas, so your peace of mind to know that she's got something there, and if something breaks, she's got some warranty to work with. I mean, there's a lot of different concepts of value there.
You know, Jack, the only thing that and most of us that are having the conversation with you right now are old enough to remember, my dad would have never, ever, ever dreamed of buying a car that he didn't see and was able to kick the tires. And now, today, that seems to be the trend. Well, just order it up online.
Shows up on a truck.
And have it delivered to the front of the house, sign the papers, and boom, you're gone. I just can't even imagine being a car guy doing it that way, but apparently most people are.
Yeah, before you.
Well, I don't know if most people are, but I think a lot of people are, and I think opportunities like Carvana, places like Carvana, Vroom, Shift.com, they will at least give you some idea of the car. They'll bring it to you often. I just interviewed the CEO of Shift recently. They will actually bring it to your house, and without you signing on anything, without you necessarily buying, you can try it out for a while, and if you don't want it, they put it back on the truck and off it goes. I don't think Carvana and Vroom do that, however. I think if you're going to get one of their cars delivered to your house, you have already bought the thing. But I think you have often they have a 7-day return policy or something like that. So it's kind of a pig in a poke, as we used to say. And I couldn't agree more with you, Don. I can't imagine buying a vehicle without taking it for a test drive, not just kicking the tires, but driving the darn thing. But a lot of people are willing to do it, and maybe it's okay.
And even within that 7-day return policy, read the policy before you commit, because most of the time that 7-day return policy is returned for credit for something else on their lot. They're not going to give you your money back.
That is such a good point. That's absolutely a great point. And a lot of times you might be on the hook for transportation, and there might be charges that kind of suck you into making a deal with them one way or the other.
Interesting. The only one I've seen lately, the lady across the street during COVID, she drove a car. She's had a particular brand that she's driven for years. She called up the dealership and said, "Look, I've been looking online. I want a new one, and this is what I want." And all it was an upgrade for her. Went from a 5-year-old vehicle to a new one. And sure enough, they bring it to the driveway. She goes out. She looks at it, cranks it up, drives around the block. And the guy's standing there twiddling his thumbs. And she comes back and says, "Okay." And he gets in his car and leaves. And it's all done. The paperwork's all done on the internet and everything.
Right. And I think that's where we're going with a lot of this. And I think one of the things that's driving this is even those of us who are used to buying cars and have bought cars for decades don't want to spend a half a day or a day in the dealership just doing the deal. We'd like to do a lot of this stuff at home, sitting on the couch, sitting at our desk, get the paperwork done. And then when you go into the dealership, you do the stuff that you really need to do. When you see the car, you do the test drive, you sign the paperwork if they need an inked signature on the paperwork, and it's a whole different thing. It just makes it better. And I really think that the online buying thing is not going to come from the Carvanas and Vrooms of the world. I don't think they're going to replace the current car dealer. I just think our car dealers, both new and used car dealers, are going to get better at selling vehicles online. Many of them are really great at it already. Mm-hmm. And the consumer is going to pick how much time they spend online and how much time they spend in the dealership. And I think that's the trend of the future. Not 100% buying online, but not doing nothing online either.
Yeah, that the new car dealers are having. Negative. Yeah, they're having to adapt to where the market's moving. And the old days of going and letting them bid on your trade, and then for the next 3 hours they can't find your keys to your car because the used car guy's got them somewhere, and they're just trying to throw you in the box and get you to buy something, anything. Here, sign,
Right.
press hard. There's 7 copies.
I mean, everybody is researching online, so they're paying attention to things. They should know the value of their trade-in vehicle or have a pretty good idea of it when they're walking in. They should have a pretty good idea of the transaction price, what the car that they're buying is going for. If they do any kind of research at all, they should have a pretty good sense of how the deal should go together. And that actually works great for the dealer, too. There's a lot of wasted time in the dealership by dealer personnel just dealing with stuff that takes time, and it's better for the dealer when everybody's getting together as well as it is for the consumer.
Jack, where's a good place to go and find the value of your car? How does that work?
There's several good places. Where I go now, and maybe I'm a little prejudiced against my old employer, but I go to NADA Guides these days, NADA Guides, and which will soon be J.D. Power valuation. That's a great place to get the value of your trade-in vehicle, a great place to get the value of new cars too. I was literally online with them yesterday as I was writing a story about a Jeep Cherokee and checking prices on new vehicles, and you get invoice pricing. You get to see what the transportation. I think we had this discussion about destination charges.
Right.
Last time we talked.
Yeah.
I think on the Jeep Cherokee, just for example, they're over $1,000. It's like $1,049 or something like that in transportation charges. But that's a great place to get that information. Edmunds is another great place, I think, to get.
And the consumer, the smart consumer does that. Even going to buy a new car, they know because the information's available to them to the penny what the new car dealer's cost is on the vehicle. Now, they might not understand holdback fees and stuff like that, but all of that information's available to them, and it gives them a position to negotiate with a lot of knowledge. But they also have to understand that the reason that guy's in that big building and the big shop in the back and stuff, they're not there to give cars away. They
got to make money. Everybody's got to make a little bit of money.
And I think the consumer typically understands that, right? You don't go to a grocery store and expect them to give you the food for free, right?
Exactly.
They have to make a reasonable profit, and we're all happy that happens.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want him planning his Hawaiian vacation off of my purchase.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the orthodontist, I think, who does that.
That's the politician.
Yeah, exactly. Farther and farther, yeah. Absolutely. One of the things that's interesting about buying cars is it's a big purchase, right? I mean, it's a large purchase, and I think typically the typical transaction price now, or the median transaction price, is way over $35,000. And yet people buy them as an impulse. It's like picking up a pack of gum at the checkout counter at the grocery store. It's just kind of nuts that people are spending that amount of money and not thinking it through very much. And, I know that from having studied this for years and years and years and written a book about car buying as well. So it's really interesting that with all the information available online, how little research many people do about this.
So what do you think, Jack, is going to happen now with this chip shortage? I just read a story about the fact that more and more, as the days click off, there are going to be more and more. I'm sorry?
Nothing. Go.
There are going to be more and more shortages as to, if somebody wants to find a Jeep Cherokee, for instance, one of the vehicles that is really being limited as far as production is concerned because they don't have enough chips out there. What is that going to do? Is it going to push the buyer to some other brand, some other make? Is it going to keep them out of the market? Are they going to go to the used market? What are your feelings on that?
Yep.
I think some will wait, but I think a lot of people will go to an alternative vehicle. Although with the vehicle that you pointed to, Jeep Cherokee, I think people who want a Jeep want a Jeep. So, and I think people who say want an F-150 are not necessarily going to go over and buy a Ram. I think there's a lot of loyalty for some of these folks, and I think they will wait. But it's a problem for the industry. And it's a problem not just because you won't find any F-150s, or you won't find any Cherokees, or you won't find any, pick a vehicle affected. But you won't find it in the color you want, with the equipment you want, and thus you're less likely to buy it. And that's going to put off sales for a while.
Right, right. Do you think that? Do you see
exactly when you want it?
Yeah.
I mean.
Do you see people here in Houston, for instance, if they want a specific vehicle and can't find it within 100 or even 250 miles from Houston, that they'll go out of state to find it?
I think it's possible. It depends on how gung-ho they are about that particular model and color. We were just talking about online sellers, and some online sellers are hiking vehicles around the country all the time, expecting people to pay $200, $300, $400 or more for transport for a used car that maybe they could have got one kind of almost just like it in the local market. If they're in any kind of metro area, pretty much everything is to be had in a large metro like Houston, certainly. So I guess it remains to be seen, and I think partly it has to do with how absolutely committed that buyer is to that car or that truck, and with that amount of equipment.
What are they willing to pay?
Yeah. Jack, do you recall several years ago, there used to be mainly guys, out there that offered a car buying service and it was mainly for more well-to-do people, that they didn't want to bother with that
brokering,
that they wanted to have a certain particular type of car, and the buyer or broker would go out and search it, and they would charge a fee for doing that. I have not heard one thing about that in years. Is that still something out there?
It is still something out there, but it has kind of grown in a way, or maybe matured in a different way. I mean, you guys certainly know about TrueCar, and I interviewed the president of TrueCar, who actually happens to live fairly close to me. We actually have mutual friends, and our wives know each other, that kind of thing.
Over there in the Malibu area.
TrueCar, yeah, hardly. Yeah, not really. But they do that, and they do that for a lot of different affinity groups. They've just signed a deal with Navy Federal Credit Union. And so if you use Navy Credit's car buying service, which is essentially a car brokerage, what you're going to get is a TrueCar experience. And you're going to have pretty much what you were talking about, Don. You kind of put yourself in their hands, and then they go out and find the car for you at a particular price. It's probably discounted off the MSRP, and you make a deal. You're probably going to finance it through Navy Federal, and everybody's pretty happy with that situation. I'm not sure that it's a way necessarily to get the lowest price, but it is a way certainly to avoid a lot of the hassle involved with dealing with the dealer. At the same time, I think a lot of dealers are getting really great about not making it a hassle for people, and giving people a much clearer and direct path to buying a vehicle.
And are you finding that as availability on the new car lots is depleting because of inventory issues, and the new car price or the used car prices are elevating again because of inventory issues? How far do you think that's going to go as this price rush to the top is happening right now?
Well, I'm kind of curious to see where we're going with the economy, right? I mean, the stock market has actually been going up over the course of the last several months. We are seeing a recovery. There was, I think, the jobs report or the unemployment report yesterday or the day before was very, very strong. So that indicates a fairly strong economy. So that's going to put pressure on both new and used car sales. I mean, when the economy is going well and people are getting back into employment, they're liable to buy vehicles. At the same time, I'm wondering how long this is going to go. I don't know what's going on with fuel prices in Houston, but fuel prices in California have gone up at least 35% in the last 2 months.
Same here.
I think I paid $2.65
we're at $4 a gallon gasoline here, and that has a chilling effect overall. When you have fuel prices go way, way up, I mean, certainly people are not about to step up to larger vehicles, maybe not to a vehicle at all. Of course, then you have people who don't want to be on public transportation. So you have that. Yeah, a bunch of different factors are working probably in different directions.
Jack, it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you, as we always do, and I love this once-a-month thing because we get caught up and find out what the latest trends are, and right now with used car sales off the charts, it's great to have your insight, as always. Let's talk again next month, get caught up, and see what you got cooking.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Happy Easter to all of you guys in Wheel Time. I so appreciate talking to you every month.
Well,
thank you.
You too,
Happy
Jack.
Easter to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jack. So Jack is the writer, editor, consultant, and host of the radio and podcast show, America on the Road. We encourage you to look him up and join the fun. Time now for the events calendar. We got plenty of events coming up. Weather's getting good, and let's go.
April 10th, the Woodlands Car Club. They coordinate the Coffee and Cars for a Cause up in the Woodlands. This year, they're working on the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, National Alliance for Mental Health, the Assistance League, and Yes to Youth. So they're getting an opportunity to fund all of those charities. And I believe their Yes to Youth fundraiser is tomorrow. Sunday, April 11th, is the Twin Peaks meet in Webster. The Lone Star Rod and Custom Roundup in Austin, Texas is April 16th. Saturday, and then the Bluebonnet Cruise is Saturday, April 17th. And that's going to meet at Buc-ee's in Waller at 8:30 a.m. and head out through the Bluebonnets. And then Houston Motorsports Park. Houston Motorsports Park tonight is NASCAR.
Yeah. And let's not forget that we've got coming up, the Houston Auto Show is coming up in May. And we also have tickets on sale for the 34th Annual Mopar Express Lane NHRA Spring Nationals over in Baytown, May 21st through the 23rd.
Keels and Wheels, May 1st.
Yep, we're going to be at both of those events.
Lots of stuff.
I wanted to also mention the fact that the Hot Rod Power Tour and Drag Weeks have been announced. And Power Tour is going to kick off Monday, August 23rd in Norwalk, Ohio, and then head on out for a 5-day road trip. I want to do this so bad.
Me too.
And going to go over to Champaign, Illinois. Then
they're hanging up in that central Midwest. They need to come back down to Texas.
I agree, but not in August. Drag Week is going to be it's going to start in Motorsports Park in Martin, Michigan. And then it's going to move to Norwalk, Ohio, Indianapolis, Byron, Illinois, and then back to Martin, Michigan again. That's going to be September the 12th. Let's see. Yes, September the 12th through September the 17th. So there's that. If you're into hot rods and Drag Week and Power Tour. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has a look at the 2021 Toyota Supra. We got to see it last weekend.
Yes. I got to.
I don't know how I got in and out of the car.
I saw you get in. I was concerned about how we were going to get you out.
Yeah, well,
that yellow beast.
And I learned something this week. It's not the 2021 Toyota Supra. It is the 2021 Toyota GR Supra, and the trim is the 3.0 Premium.
The GR.
Yeah, it's the GR. The GRS. Anyway, so I also learned that the first Supra came out in 1978. I didn't realize it was quite that old. And the one that we happen to have is in this bright nitro yellow color that you can see here on the screen.
Is that what if you're looking at the video? Nitro is the color?
Nitro yellow.
That's pretty neat.
And if you're looking for some way to kind of describe the size of this vehicle, the 86 Coupe that is also one of their products, this actually has a wheelbase that's 4 inches shorter. So it kind of creates some overhang up front and over back. So that's where you can see in and see all this very sculpted design body lines here with a lot of vents and stuff in them. Bulging fenders, got a double bubble roof setting up on top of it so you can get a little headroom up there. And so when you look at it from the side with the profile, you get this very distinct look on it. Got the long hood, the duckbill rear section, the treatment on it kind of flips up. A lot of that's treatment back towards the first gens, and it's got, like I said, you can see all the vents and things that are on it as well. And now you get into the things that kind of go along with it. Then you get into the 6-lens auto LED headlights. They're auto leveling LED headlights. You got the LED daytime running lights and the tail lights. It's all LED all over the place. You got all the vents along the body lines. You got auto folding heated side mirrors, and it rolls on some really nice 19-inch 10-spoke wheels. And our particular vehicle was equipped with the Brembo brakes that you could see the red calipers behind the wheels. So you slide into the interior. Now, this is when I say slide into the interior.
Fall into the interior.
Yeah. Because once you get into it,
you ain't getting out.
It's snug. It's a snug seats are very bolstered. You've got everything within real easy reach of you. So you've got sitting on some leather seats that are heated. There's only 2. This is a 2-passenger vehicle. You got an 8.8-inch touchscreen that's got the where you can see all your stuff, including your heads-up display. And then you've got the gauge pod is also 8.8 inches. And one thing I liked about the gauge pod, I'll spit it out here in a minute, is when you look at it, it's a tack. The big gauge is the tack. See if it'll roll one more. And off to the side in this box, it's about an inch square, is where the speedometer is. So when you see this big 6-inch round gauge up there, it's really just a tack. So you're looking at it, and it's
so as you're doing what you think is 60, you're winding out at 6,000 RPM.
That's exactly it.
In 5th gear, which is like 150 miles an hour.
This thing is rolling.
Unless it's kilometers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got all the other features, the wireless phone charging, and the Super Command is the mouse console down by the console that actually handles all that. No. I had to lean over to see some of the buttons to see them. It just didn't work for me.
No, I don't do a mouse on the center console.
It did have a 12-speaker JBL audio system with 2 of the bigger speakers. The woofers are sitting right behind the seats. Now, that thing would rock. It's a small cabin space, but it would light that world up.
Margaritaville any better, huh?
I'm telling you.
Didn't the Supra used to be the Toyota Celica?
Yes, that's where it was generated out of.
The first generation was a Toyota Celica.
And it was a 4-seater.
That had a... Yeah. That had a 6-cylinder in it, and then the second generation was the same thing. It's kind of a Celica chassis with a 6-cylinder in it, and they were 4-seaters.
And so we get up under the hood real quick. We had the 3.0 inline 6-cylinder turbo. There is a new 2.0 out, but I didn't get that one. So this is 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque with an 8-speed automatic transmission and the paddle shifters. There is no manual gearbox available for this. So the EPA says you should be looking for about 22 miles to the gallon on the city, about 30 miles per gallon on the highway, combined for 25. I will tell you, I did make it a point, you can get, I believe, 22 in the city, and I do think that you could get 30 out on the highway. In fact, I did get 30 on the highway. Now, the combined 25 for the week, I didn't get that. I got a lot less.
Well, it's because you're heavy-footed.
Well, they say it'll do 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, and I believe that based on what I could find. But it also says it's 155 mile per hour top speed. I can't validate that. So if I was going to change anything as far as the driving, the performance of it, I loved it. I wouldn't do anything. The ride and handling, it is very firm. It's very sports car-ish. It's got the adaptive dampeners on it, and it's electronic rear differential, 13.7-inch front disc brakes on it. It's a lot of great things there. So if you're looking for something to compare it to, you might look at the BMW Z4 that starts at about 63.7. The Jag F-Type sets up around 61, or even a Corvette at 60,000, 2-seater vehicles. Now, you can get the base Toyota Supra 3.0 Premium. It is going to start at $50,990. Now, the MSRP on the vehicle as tested that we had is $57,185, and it includes a 1-year National Auto Sports Association membership that gets you some driving lessons and things like that, and has a heck of a warranty on it for a hot rod.
Thank you. All right. Time now for a quick break here on the In Wheel Time Show. I want to remind you that our show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
So when I went out,
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular, you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 in Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupe Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupes are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In real time, we'll be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, and Jeff Zekin. Don Armstrong here with you. Let's get right to our guest. He's on hold. He's been waiting for us so patiently, Mr. John Craman with Mecum Auctions. John, it's good to talk to you, my friend.
Hey, good to talk to you guys, and we are cranked up, ready to head to Houston.
Awesome. Are you driving here?
I personally am not. No, I'm actually leaving to come down on the airlines. I'm up in the Chicago area and leaving to come down on Tuesday, but we've got a great lineup. This is, interesting to know. We are actually, believe it or not, celebrating our 10th year in a row at Houston. Hard to believe. It seems like it's been a few years ago, but folks at Energy Center are all ready for us, and we're going to continue the juggernaut of very successful auctions during these really unusual times that we actually began June of last year with our first pandemic auction. This will be our 12th that we've held, and it might surprise you or it might not that we've continued to hold record auctions one after another, and we maybe can talk about that a bit, and that is just how much interest there is right now during this COVID era with the excitement, people buying cool old cars from their past. It's really amazing that is one bright side of this, difficult time we've all been dealing with.
John, do you know, are there going to be restrictions as far as the number of people that they allow into the facility there at NRG?
Well, that's the good news is no, we're not allowing or we're not limiting the amount of spectators or buyers or sellers. But here's what we are doing. We are staying with, and this is an NRG policy, we are staying with masking protocols are still in place. And we are also not going to be selling tickets at the gate like we normally would, but we are selling tickets. People just need to go to mecum.com, and it's only $20 to buy a ticket. Buy them in advance, and you're able to come right in. No restrictions on anything at all. Not bad. And this has been the procedure we've been using with great success since the middle of last year. It keeps everybody safe, and it keeps the auctions high energy and successful. And if anybody hasn't had a chance to get out yet, they're still kind of hunkered in and they want their car fixed, we're recommending that everybody comes out and checks this out, because I would just tell everybody and promise everybody we do it very safely. We've got everything spread apart, all the way from the way we've got cars displayed to the way we're doing any transactions, the way we've got seating set up. Everything is social distance, so we're encouraging everybody to come on out.
Well, and one of the cool things about Mecum is you guys are having an auction. Those people who pay the $20 to come that didn't bring money to buy at the auction, they're having a car show because you have such a wide variety of vehicles that show up.
Absolutely.
And Houston and Texas in general has generally been a pretty good truck sales platform for you guys, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely. Glad that you mentioned trucks, because that has been the past 5 or 6 years one of really the fastest growing and hottest segments, whether they're original, whether they're restored, or whether they're resto modded. Leading that truck charge are the Chevy C10s from 67 to 72, those glamour era trucks. And of course, do I even need to mention the first generation Broncos? Holy smokes, 66 to 77. That just continues to just reset the bar on excitement and quality. And what you might find interesting, both on the C10s and the Broncos as well, it's a slightly younger demographic that's getting involved in those vintage vehicles.
Did I hear you use the phrase glamour era?
I heard that too.
You know, I just wanted to focus in on that because I was a part of that movement, and I reflect on that with great love.
You resemble that.
And I resemble that remark.
Yeah, that is referred to as the Chevy trucks from 67 to 1972. That is really the go-to truck right now. The square body trucks that came out after that, 73 through 87, those are coming on strong too. Those are picking up kind of the slack, and those are a little bit more affordable. But those are coming on strong too, and I just want to say that it's very gratifying as a classic baby boomer. As we transition, us older guys, we transition away from the involvement in the hobby. There's a whole new generation of enthusiasts that's right behind us. There's always been a question in the collector car world, will that continue? And from all indications, there's nothing at all to think that this market is not easing up. We take vehicles from, roughly the mid-1950s up through maybe the mid-1970s. That seems to be an era of vehicles that transcends generations very well. Resto mods, of course, huge part of the collector car world, blending modern technology and components with a vintage look, continues to be more and more popular. Prices are going up. We're seeing more and more of those on the auction block. Just really bodes well for the hobby.
John, I have to tell you that I heard that some of these resto mods are going for more money than the actual originals. What is that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's a phenomenon that we've been sort of following and talking about for, the past 3 or 4 years. And there's going to be no end in sight. One of the reasons for that is demand. There is a market segment that wants the look and the allure of a cool vintage vehicle, but they want modern mechanicals. And that's just not more horsepower. It's also better braking and air conditioning and comfort items.
Suspension.
And it's expensive to do that. And that's why they're so valuable, because it really takes a major effort to go full-blown resto mod. And in many cases, it's actually they replace the entire chassis and suspension system as well. So you can spend more resto modding one than restoring it. So I guess it would make sense that ultimately they would bring more money. But you know what determines values on everything that we sell is supply and demand. And right now, the demand is high for everything across the board, especially on anything that's been modified with today's components. That's a trend I think it's here to stay. It's not a fad.
Let's talk about some of the individual vehicles that you're excited about that you've got coming up at the Mecum auction next week.
Yeah, I have to say we've got roughly about 900 cars consigned so far, roughly 300 per day. And we've got everything from cars $5,000 on up to over $100,000. And I'm going to I love all cars. I'm going to give a nod to a couple of Mopars that I really like.
Sure.
There's a 68 Hemi Charger, dark blue, really cool color. That is the first year of that body style. A lot of people's personal favorites, mine included. And we've also got kind of in the same Mopar camp, we have the 1 year only 2018 Dodge Demon, the 840 horsepower beast, the highest horsepower, best performing muscle car ever. Only 1 year, 3,000 built for the U.S. market, and we've got one of those coming as well. So we'll see if we can get a 1-2 Mopar punch. But lots of great stuff. Corvettes, 50s cars, chrome and fin era. Of course, we mentioned trucks, SUVs, muscle cars, always a big staple. A lot of nice luxury cars, and some exotic cars too. Some late model exotics. So it sounds kind of corny. You hear the term something for everyone, but this auction truly will have it. It'd be a great opportunity for anybody listening to check it out.
John, let me ask you, just out of curiosity, a 68 Hemi Charger versus a Demon, which one do you think is going to bring more?
That's a good question. They're both six-figure cars. We know that. So we know that we're going to be looking at a minimum of $100,000. I think that's going to be a really good battle. We've seen the Demons, which it's a little bit easier to do a comparison to a Demon because there's a fair amount of them out there. A lot of them don't have any miles on them, and other than some options and colors, they're all pretty much the same in condition because they're a new car. But the Charger's a whole different world. Over a 50-year-old car, there are so many variables, and that can really drive the price. But I would say that I'm going to give a slight edge to the classic '68 Hemi Charger on the eventual hammer price. And I made a note here, and I'm going to be looking at that, noting that to see which one actually sells for more money.
Got to give us a shout on it.
So, John, I know that the auction itself runs for 3 days, April 8th through the 10th. Explain to everybody how you divide up the cars for each day. There's the Thursday auction, the Friday auction, and the Saturday auction, but there is some rhyme or reason as to what you run across the block in each of those days. How does that work?
Yeah, there sure is. We call it internally inventory management. And what we want to do is, because our auctions are so long and there's so many cars, we don't expect every bidder to be there for every car. So what we do is we categorize the different vehicles pretty much based on value. It's not a 100% accurate plan, but we're probably in the 80 to 90 percentile range. So Thursday is going to be the entry-level cars, typically the more affordable cars. So if somebody's got, let's say, a sub $25,000 budget to spend, that's going to be a really good day to go if you're just going to pick one day as a buyer. And then as we go into the Friday and the final day on Saturday,
sold or bought, the camera people that are on the block, have they ever bumped into or damaged a vehicle?
Not damaged, not aware of any damage at all. They have occasionally will bump into a car, and you actually see that once in a while, a bit of a jiggle. But allow me just a moment to just give a shout out for that crew. Most of this crew, we're 14 years now on television, all working together, and many of those crew members have been with us for that entire time.
Oh, wow.
And without sounding like I'm, the proud papa or anything, this is really the top. These guys are the top of their game.
Yeah, I've always wondered
It's not all they do. They do a lot of sporting events and other things, but they have a passion. They love what they do. It's a well-oiled machine. Few bumps once in a while, but man, we just take it for granted. We just come in, we turn the switch on. It takes 40 of us to put that TV show on, and it looks like it's smooth and seamless. And in a lot of ways, it feels that same way to us because we've all been doing it together for so long.
The other question I have is, how's your band doing?
Well, COVID, we've been kind of locked down like everybody, but my three-piece classic rock band, Redline 7000. Check it out on Redline7000band.com. Yeah, hopefully we'll be out this year. Going to be talking to Bob Ashton at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, McCacken. I call that the Amelia Island of muscle cars. The Pebble Beach of muscle cars. That's in November in the Chicago area, and that's kind of a tradition that our band plays there to our group of the muscle car and Corvette guys. So I got my fingers crossed that's going to happen.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so I guess the easiest way to remember when the auction is going to be on TV is to just check out meekumauctions.com for that.
Right.
So, and what are the hours at the show?
Yeah, at the actual auction, the gates every day will open at 8 o'clock. The first car will be at 10 o'clock, but the auction will actually start around 9:30. We do auction starters with memorabilia. We call it road art, and that kind of gets the auction going. But the first car will hit the block at 10 a.m., and we'll probably, my guess is there's no end set time. It's when the last car is done. But I would say we probably should be done by sometime around maybe 7 p.m. or so. So once again, invite everybody to come out, get your tickets online. They're only $20, and there's still also time to get vehicles consigned. You can call Meekum, the Meekum office, and we literally take entries right up to the day of the auction.
Well, and the cool thing is people who are interested in coming out, they can go to Meekum.com and look at the docket. They can look at the Thursday cars in that price range you're talking about, the Friday cars, and then ultimately look at the star cars that you have that are going to pop up Saturday. And I've been looking at this for a while just to see what you're bringing to Houston. Oh my gosh, you guys have got some great rides coming in.
Yeah, we're really, needless to say, really glad to be coming back. We were just there in December, had a great auction, as you might remember. And it sounds good, really, with your Autorama and NHRA coming to town. It sounds like things are opening up. Just fingers crossed we all get back to enjoying cars. Just like you guys, it's a lifestyle with us. And we just want things to get cranked back up again.
Amen to that. Well, John, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday. And we know you're a busy guy, and hopefully we'll see you this week sometime out at NRG Center for the 10th anniversary of the Meekum Auction Houston version.
Well, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate all your support.
Thank you. Thank you. Talk to you again. All right. We've got a couple of things I want to get in before the end of the show. One is I wanted to get in some more headline stories. But I also wanted to mention to everyone that tonight at Houston Motorsports Park is the Gulf Coast Racing Series, and it is going to be the Spring Speed Fest presented by Advance Auto Parts. Houston Motorsports Park, up there off of North Lake Houston Parkway. And it's easy to get to. You can either get to it through 59, which I wouldn't recommend because, the East Mount Houston is a terrible road. But you go up the
Beltway 8.
Yeah, Beltway 8 up there and exit North Lake Houston Parkway and just head west and you'll run into the racetrack up there. Everything, the gates open at 5 o'clock. Racing begins at about 6:05, 6:10. They're going to have the flyover and the national anthem and all the good old American stuff. Tickets are $15 for adults, $5 for kids, vets, and seniors. $1 hot dogs, $1 beer, and they're going to have the full array of racing tonight: Pro Trucks, Modifieds, Outlaws, Eco Stocks, Super Stocks, NASCARts. I love the NASCARts. And the legacy car. So it's a full array tonight. Tonight would be a great night to go.
Beautiful
Bring
night.
a jacket because it's going to be a little bit on the crisp side. Not cold, but crisp.
That's when those cars make horsepower.
Yeah. And get you some nice hot dogs for $1 a shot. And
Dollar beers.
$1 beers, yeah. So it's a good time. Again, it's at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5, racing at about 6:05, 6:10 after the flyover in the national
Crispy.
anthem. Yeah. So there is that. Let's see. What else is there? I've got some.
So Toyota outsold Ford for the month of March. They were up 22% for the first 3 months of 2021. They sold 603,000 cars and light trucks for the March sales.
Who did?
Toyota.
Wow.
For the first 3 months. And Ford only sold 521, so they got a huge jump start on them.
Interesting. Huh.
And then, Honda, if you watched the Formula One race last week, Honda's making a move on Mercedes in the powertrain. It wasn't as big a gap from what it was last year.
I watched that race. I was hoping.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you happen to run across that Formula One Netflix series?
You told me about it. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my gosh, you've got to watch it. I've always been an at-far fan of Formula One, but I'll tell you what, it has made me now interested, where I'm going to try to start watching the live events. It's pretty darned exciting, and it's got all sorts of different auto manufacturers that enter cars. Mercedes, Renault. I mean, all the big players of Europe.
Aston Martin is in this year.
Well, Aston Martin. I think we should rename it that.
Austin, that's my son.
Yeah, well, yeah. We can live with that.
He did say Polaroid, and I was trying to figure out what that was earlier.
Whoa. Sorry, my age shows.
It certainly does.
Yeah. So at any rate, that is a great series. Look it up on Netflix if you have Netflix. I was enthralled and watched it. And that last race of last year,
pretty intense.
That car wreck and fire, it was. I didn't sleep the rest of the night.
Romain, yeah, and he is. He's going to run Indy this year.
Yes,
the road
but
courses.
he's not the road courses, but not the oval tracks.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Probably not skilled at oval racing as he wishes to be.
Yeah.
So Rivian, the electric truck company, they announced that they're going to have a warranty of 175,000 miles.
Wow. You also have in that story that they may be in just a little bit of financial issues.
No.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and there may be some cheating and shenanigans going on there.
You think?
Maybe.
Malarkey.
Malarkey.
That's a good old word. Very good.
The No Malarkey Tour.
Renesas Electronics said production at a semiconductor factory hit by a fire is on track to resume by mid-April. Welcome news from one of the top providers of automotive chips amid a global shortage. One of the company's most advanced lines at its plant in Naka, north of Tokyo, has been halted since a fire broke out late March. Booming demand for laptops, tablets, and other electronics from people stuck at home during the pandemic triggered this semiconductor shortage late last year that has since snarled production of everything from automobiles to gaming consoles. Car manufacturers got hit particularly hard and are expected to miss out on $61 billion in sales alone.
Jeez.
That's major. Tesla has gotten permission to move forward with a lawsuit claiming that Rivian stole its trade secrets with the help of former employees of the electric car maker. The judge also declined to dismiss Tesla's claims against 7 of its former employees, all of whom the car maker accuses of divulging trade secrets when they went to work for the rival startup. Tesla claimed in the lawsuit filed in July that Rivian had hired at least 178 of its former employees.
Espionage.
And that happens in the car business all the time. I remember there was the one guy that went from General Motors and went somewhere else, and they accused him of stealing all kinds of trade secrets. So it's not uncommon, but I don't think the lawsuits ever really go anywhere.
So did you hear what Volkswagen did this week?
Yeah, I did.
And it has turned into a disaster. Volkswagen of America on Tuesday confirmed that it will use the brand name Volkswagen starting in May to differentiate its line of electric vehicles a day after the news was inadvertently leaked online.
Yep.
Then it said it will place the exterior badge. It goes through the whole thing, right?
Jeff going to do a review of the badge?
Guess what?
We could.
It's trademark.
April Fools.
Oh, really?
Oh.
It was an April Fool's joke, as it turns out.
Oh, boy.
And it is an absolute marketing nightmare because it's all backfired on them because journalists jumped on it. Oh, this is a big story, breaking news.
It was because their PR department confirmed it, said, yes, that's true. It leaked out early.
But early being the key.
Well, but nobody ever said that until April Fool's Day. You got to remember, this is ahead of April Fool's Day.
Then later Tuesday, the company fessed up. Volkswagen of America will not be changing its name to Volkswagen. The renaming was designed to be an announcement in the spirit of April Fool's Day. VW said in a statement after removing the release from its U.S. media site, "We will provide additional updates on this matter soon."
They stepped in it, boy.
They did.
Well, it could have been pulled off, and it could have been funny, but it was released 2 days early.
Exactly.
And the gullible news media morons that, really, then Volkswagen, you can't do that.
Well, you have an inside of that intelligence community.
But what kind of a moron would...
But nowadays, it's everybody wants to be the first. You got to be the first.
Whether or not you're accurate or not.
That has nothing to do with it. We're talking clicks. And who's first, out there, and they just jump so fast.
Breaking news.
Exactly.
It pays to be second.
Oh, my gosh.
Some days.
Yeah, some days. It was an absolute nightmare. Well, we are going to wrap up today's show in just a couple of seconds here. There's a little housekeeping to do. So we will be back right after this.
The Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise-in has become so popular you'll be able to attend at more locations. Enjoy fabulous Houston car culture at any of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex restaurants. Tailpipes and Tacos will be held in Tomball at Highway 249 near 2978, Bay Area Boulevard near the Gulf Freeway in Webster, the Grand Parkway just south of I-10 and Katy, and the Kirby location off the Southwest Freeway. Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and awesome cars. Mark your calendar for Saturday, April 17th for the next Tailpipes and Tacos at one of the 4 participating Lupi Tortilla Mexican restaurants, 8 to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. See collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in this friends and family event. Start your Saturday off right at Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos, April 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. Participating Lupis are located in Tomball, Katy, West University, and Clear Lake. April 17th. In real time, we'll be broadcasting from the West University location on the Southwest Freeway, weather permitting. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Well, that's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Pandora, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, correct me if I'm wrong, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict, among others.
You're there.
Yeah. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our Video Technical Director, Sales and Marketing Maven, Jeffrey Zekin. This week's In Wheel Time Car Show is produced and directed by the Easter Bunny. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars and his royalty, King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong saying so long for now. We hope you'll join us on the next live show. It's going to be next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., right here on the fabulous Smoke and Mirrors Network. So long. We'll see you later.